Welcome to episode 71 of our Nintendo podcast called Directly to You. I am AJ of fanatixfour, and I am joined by Parker of fanatixfour. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's
fanatixfour.
good. That's great. But to keep fanatixfour running, gotta do the housekeeping stuff.
True.
And that just entails becoming a member on youtube.com/fanatixfour for $4.99. You get loyalty badges, you get emotes, you get free Switch keys from time to time, you get gaming time with us, you get access to the supporters only Discord. I think that's it for that. You also can support us on Twitch using Twitch Prime. Link your Amazon to your Twitch account and you get a free sub, but it still works for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, not a sandwich sub, just so you know, folks. If you thought you meant like a Subway sandwich, you're wrong. You're going to be disappointed, but you're going to be really excited to find out what it actually means.
Right.
Which is the normal
Right. And you get all the same stuff that I said for the YouTube membership. You get all the same stuff just on Twitch, except for the Discord. That's also still the same as the membership. Except if you have Amazon Prime, it's free for you. That's the bonus of using Twitch Prime.
That is true. That's a bonus.
I will be figuring out the Twitch schedule. I'm doing it. I gotta figure out this whole streaming situation so it's not a pain, but hard to stop by the end of next month. I'm figuring that out.
Cool.
Because I definitely do want to like have it up and running by the time I'm like Astro Chain and Luigi's Mansion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be fun.
I'm excited about it.
That's all the housekeeping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are you playing, Parker?
I had something that I was like, I need to make sure not to forget this one, but I don't remember what that was. So
forgot it.
I forgot it, I guess. More Mario Maker. I've been playing a bunch of that. I finished the story mode, kind of. Mm-hmm. I got 100% in the story mode, but there's still levels that you can play. Because I guess, like the story mode is just a question of like getting enough coins to buy all the stuff to come back. But you get coins from completing levels, but you also get the coins that you got in the levels. So I just got a lot of coins in the levels, I guess. So I still have, I don't know, probably like 40 levels left to do at some point, but had enough coins, just finish it up as I was going. So like got the credits, all that good stuff. But still have some levels that like, I'll just go back and play a little bit later. But now I think the only thing left to do with coins, because I went around, there's some extra stuff up in there anyway. Like if you go talk to some people, they'll be like, oh, also, can you do this mission for me? And then it'll unlock a little area where there's a bonus of some sort. I think the only place to use coins anymore is Undo Dog tells you jokes for 100 coins, which is like, I'm glad that there's something, because it would have been really frustrating to just keep getting more and more coins and they're just there. So it's nice that there's actually something. But in any case, I'm playing more of the story mode.
Would have been a great use of coins. Mystery mushrooms.
Oh my goodness, you're so right.
Rip, dude. I haven't been playing a lot of Mario Maker because I'm in that situation where it's like I just want to make levels, but making levels takes so much of my brain power.
It does.
So it's like I need to not be doing anything else so I can just sit there for a day and do it. But I do got to finish. I started like 3 levels or whatever that I'm still not done with. I need to finish them. But I just have this bad habit because like I wanted to like work on the next video for the Mario Maker thing, which I don't know if we want to do that anymore.
I don't know.
But I was going to do that, and I always think to myself, okay, I'm going to like chip away at this instead of doing it the week of, because that takes forever. There's no time in the day for that unless I'm going to just be up on Monday, like not sleep at all on Monday. And just be working on the video the whole time. But it's probably that's how it's going to have to happen, I guess, if I end up making that video. But outside of that, I played Mario Maker for the levels that we're going to, which I don't know. We want to talk about them here.
Let's wait till we talk about, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Well, I played it for that. And that's about it. I also played a couple other games just today. I'm playing Smash Brothers, obviously.
Yeah, right. Forgiven.
But but I also Started Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
I didn't know a whole lot about it going into it, other than like the quick blurbs or whatever we got in Nintendo Directs and stuff like that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really look into it like that. So I am surprised by how much attention went into the cutscene part of it. The dialogue and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
the dialogue is real good.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like they nailed the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but not Marvel Cinematic Universe, way closer than Crystal Dynamics did from what we saw from their game.
Right. Did you see the new gameplay that leaked today or whatever? There was new gameplay that leaked for the
Oh,
Avengers
yeah, I heard. I saw the article for that, but I
game.
didn't
Mm-hmm.
watch it. I
It
didn't.
looked, yeah, it looked fine. It looked better than the other stuff. In any case, I think, I don't know, hard to tell. But in any case, yeah, I played a little bit of that too. I definitely agree. The cutscenes were just fun. All the characters, I feel like some of them, like the guy playing
Rocket
Nick
Raccoon.
Fury,
Oh,
sounds
okay.
straight up like
Yeah, yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson. Like, there's just
Rocket
a bunch of
Raccoon was like
people.
that for me. I was like, what?
y-
I was
Yep, there are a
is
bunch
this
of
just him?
just sound alikes that did a really really good job, and I was happy about that, because that's one of those things, like, once you have uh an iteration of, or like an existence of some character that you feel like, yep, that was that character that I've been imagining all along. Like, I don't know, watching Lord of the Rings and seeing Aragorn being portrayed by um Viggo Mortensen or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's Aragorn. Like, that's what it looks like. So now if I see something that looks drastically different, even if it's like still fits in with the books, it would be like, nah, it's weird, which is kind of the case for the Avengers game, seems like, where it's like pretty different from what we're already used to.
Yeah,
But
it's like the problem with the Crystal Dynamics one is that it's so far, but still kind of close. So it's
yeah.
jarring. But if they went
Hmm.
in a complete different direction, then it would be easier to be like, oh, okay, this is a different thing. This isn't the
Yep.
MCU.
Yep.
In this case, it's pretty close and good at being close without
Hmm.
being the exact same thing.
Yep. And it's, I mean, the kind of game it is too, it's like, it's having fun just being campy and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like, I don't know where you got up to. I played a little bit over lunch. I actually didn't get it myself, but my Mitch did, who was on a couple weeks ago. And so we just played it together on our lunch break today. Uh, so I played, I don't know, he played about an hour. So we played the second or third hour ish of it.
Mhm.
So the part, like, we got Venom, for example, was one
Okay. Yeah, I
spot
didn't
where we
get
were at.
that part. I got up
Cool.
to where you do the first bit is your Guardians of the
Okay.
Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the part where you're like, Spider-Man, oh shoot, you're here. And then Spider-Man helps you. And then Nick Fury is like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, you guys messed up, dude. Now I'm the boss because this is you got into my territory and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's more people. And that's the problem.
Nice. I feel like you unlock new characters really fast so far,
Yeah.
which I think, I mean, is good, because, like, you don't want to get to the end of the game. I mean, you still want to be
And be
unlocking
like,
people.
finally, I got the guy I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like level 5,
Yeah,
and then
which
meanwhile everything else
I
is.
don't know how that works because when you get new characters, when you get the
Mhm.
new characters that I got, they're on the same level as the
I
guard.
feel like, I guess they just start out at whatever level the, like, challenge,
Mhm,
kind of. I mean, same as when I played Ease 8 recently. Whenever you get a new character, there's the level. Like, some of them are actually higher levels than I am. Like, if I didn't grind a bunch or whatever, they'd just
mhm.
be a little bit higher level. I was like, ah, cool, easy, making my life good. But yeah, I am really curious because I haven't
Oh
tested this
yeah,
out yet.
product provided by Nintendo.
True.
Forgot to say that. I gotta say that for that game. I bought Mario Maker. Did not buy
Mhm.
this one.
Nice. How do you how do you anticipate the online working, as far as, like, leveling, and, like, I'm not
See,
really
this part I don't know, and
yeah.
that's why we're not gonna it's not like a
Yeah,
topic,
right.
like it usually would be
I'm
for the
curious.
podcast. But I wanna play through it with Will
Mhm.
on the stream this
Yep.
weekend that you guys should check out, youtube.com/wolfden. It's tomorrow at the time that this goes up,
Yep.
8
I
PM
will
Eastern,
maybe also be there, maybe not. We
possibly.
will see. Possibly indeed. But yeah, it's been fun. We won't talk. One thing, this isn't really talking about the game so much as, did you also think it was just odd that in general they didn't market it like barely at all until right before it came out, like as it was coming out?
Yeah, especially considering the fact that Fire Emblem, they've been marketing that for forever. They've been marketing Astral Chain for forever. You know, like I would say they marketed Astral Chain more than they did Fire Emblem. So maybe it's a thing of just like them being, you know what, what's marketing this game? Avengers Endgame is marketing this game. We don't got to talk about it. It's Avengers, you know.
I mean, and that said, like, even if it doesn't have a super strong push right out the gate because of a ton of marketing going right into it, it's going to sell super well just by, it being a game that's good, that people like for the most part. And then people seeing like, oh, it's a Marvel game on store shelves, and then just picking it up because of that. So like, it'll do fine.
Granted, I mean, they marketed it a lot, but it was just announced that Spider-Man on PS4 is the best-selling superhero game ever. Like even more than Batman Arkham, which is crazy because that's a multiplayer. Like that's on everything ever.
That's true. Yeah.
And that still didn't sell as much as Spider-Man just did on the PlayStation 4. So I think Marvel just has a lot of pull right now.
Yeah. So I also thought that was odd, but so yeah, curious to hear your conversation with Will about all that stuff at a later date.
Yeah. Good.
Otherwise, the only other thing I played was some more Dr. Mario on the phone, and it's still good.
I played that.
Nice. What'd you think?
It's fine.
Yeah. It's exactly what you'd guess.
Yeah, it's like a Candy Crush situation. It's like, I got 3 minutes. I'm not doing nothing.
Yep.
I can clear 2 levels, like that sort of thing. Nothing to write home about.
Nope.
Apparently it's doing okay.
I haven't even paid. I'd be curious.
I got like 5 million downloads.
Okay.
In the first week, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh my god, 5 million downloads in the first week. Like,
yeah, it's a free game.
Yeah.
Tons of people downloaded it just to be like, oh, what's this?
It's Dr. Mario? I don't really care about Dr. Mario, but it's Mario, so I'll check it out.
I really feel like there was something else, but it doesn't matter.
Falcon, he's probably upset. He's like, what? You don't care about Dr. Mario?
Oh, yeah, because he plays Dr. Mario in Smash, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Falcon, how much do you actually like Dr. Mario as a franchise outside of Smash? I would like to know.
How many hours you put into Dr. Mario on the Switch?
True. And how does that compare to your amount of time with Pokemon?
That's the thing. Like, it's Pokemon. Like, I don't know if Dr. Mario was the thing I doubt it. But where Falcon was like, I love Dr. Mario. I'm going to play. Like, no, Pokemon Trainer, I would have been good with them. Period. It just it was just a thing where it's like, if I wasn't already like good with them, playing with them, I would have made that happen because I like that character and I want to be good with them.
Yep.
It just so happened that their mechanics just make sense to me. But we'll get to that in the Q&A, I guess.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, we've got some news topics, but we've got a lot of Q&A topics. So if you asked a question, you're listening for that. We'll get to your questions. There were a lot of them, and they're great.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking.
I'm tweeting them out every week now. I'm letting you guys know on the Twitter because it just makes sense.
It does. It just makes sense. What else makes sense? Starting into the news topics is the Nintendo Switch is getting a revision. The OG Switch.
Another one.
Yep. On top of the Switch Lite, also the original Switch is getting updated SoC. The new SKU's coming out between the beginning of August.
How dare you say that? Like, people just know what that means.
Yeah, of course, the things. Long story short.
And then continue to not elaborate. It's getting a new chipset.
Yeah.
It's updated. It's the same thing generally. It's not like going from an i7 to an i9. The generation after the fact is still basically the same Tegra situation, just more efficient.
Yep.
So it's technically more powerful, but they're not really using it for that.
Right. So that's the wide swath of the topic. But I don't know. Let's just get into it. I don't know.
The thing with this that's interesting to me is Nintendo kind of talked about wanting to, like, they talk about wanting to be Apple a lot. And like pretty much straight up saying Apple does it, so we
Yeah.
can too, you know. Like back when Iwata was still president,
Hmm.
he said like, yeah, like they released the iPhone, and then the next year they do the iPhone, you know, like
Yeah.
with MacBooks, it's the 2019 MacBook. It's not MacBook 5 or whatever,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's just the MacBook for this year. So I'm interested to see if this is just the norm for them now, because like
Mm,
it's kind of the norm for their handhelds. And not every year. Maybe
hmm
with the 3DS, it looked like it was every year for a little bit, but for the
hmm
most part, they're like every 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3 years. They'll be like, oh, it's time for another revision or whatever. For what mostly they're handhelds. Sometimes they're really successful home consoles, but
hmm
that's rare.
Which this one's kind of both.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now we got 2 revisions in 1 year, and we technically got a revision earlier, but that was more so like that was even more under the radar than this one is, where it
Mm,
didn't improve anything for the user, but it made it harder to hack
to
it.
hack or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at
Yep.
3 revisions so far and less than 3 years in.
Yep. I guess the difference with this versus like a MacBook situation would be that the software that's targeting the Switch is, or just any video game console, is a lot more it targeted in that sense than it would be like you probably wouldn't find that much a 2018 MacBook and a 2019 MacBook. I don't know if there would be any software that would work on the 2019 one, but wouldn't work on the 2018. There would be some, but it would be like really high end stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. I mean, this is the same so
Right.
far,
Right.
but that's I guess the harder thing there is that they have to look into is like not making, like, I don't think many people want them to do like a new
Like full
3DS
new
situation.
generations from year to year. Like, no, I don't think
Right.
that that's what they want, and that's
Yeah.
why I think they mentioned Apple, because
Yeah.
they want it to be forward compatible and to work
Hmm.
with everything, and for you to just basically have options
Yeah.
or more incentive if you haven't
Hmm.
already jumped it.
Right.
So kind of like Xbox, I mean, like Xbox One X, but even
Hmm.
less dramatic than that.
Right. Totally.
Where it's like, oh, some games just, I mean, granted, that hasn't happened yet with
Yeah.
Xbox One X.
There's
It's
some that I guess run fairly
better.
poorly
Yeah,
on the
like
original one.
all of
Yeah.
them run better,
Yeah.
but none of them only run on Xbox One X.
Hmm.
So
Which I mean makes sense and is a good call because otherwise that would be like kind of a, I don't know, a diss to everybody that
it's shooting
already.
them in the foot.
Yeah.
I would say less so for people that already have one,
Hmm.
more so for people that want to get the next thing. Because,
Yeah.
like, say they buy Xbox One X, and then a year and a half later,
Hmm.
we get Xbox Scarlet or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like, are you really going to do that? You just spend $500 on the point 0.5 version.
Yeah.
So
So the interesting thing with this, and it makes sense to me why they like. I was thinking about it, just why they announced them in this order that they did the Switch Lite first, and that one had a big marketing push and is like very public. Like, hey, everybody, this is the new thing. Like, this is it looks different. It's the Switch Lite. It's just what it is. And then the next week, I think they only even like announced it in Japan,
yeah,
and it wasn't even like there was like no PR for it. It was just like, by the way, for all you people that care, we're gonna update the Switch. Like,
yeah. I had to like dig into it because like I reached out to Nintendo about the Joy-Con,
mhm,
and the Switch Lite last week.
nice,
But I didn't say anything about this because I didn't see anything on their social media. So it's like I don't know if they're even marketing this thing.
right?
So there's no real point because like I don't know. Um, I more so would just want to do it. I mean, obviously, anything that I'll ask Nintendo for is because I want to make a video about it.
Yeah,
But that was the whole reason for it. And it's like if you're not trying to promote this thing, then you're probably not providing uh
right.
these
That's
updated
true. Yeah,
models. So it's like I'll probably like maybe swap mine. I don't know.
yep.
I don't really have a huge problem with my battery though.
Hmm.
If anything, honestly, my battery is it keeps me in check with like how much I play Smash Brothers. Because like I mean, like it's the thing where I could plug it in, but it's just the thing that pushes me over the edge of like, okay, yes, I'll stop playing this now. So
Yeah.
like, I feel like if I doubled that time, that wouldn't be good, and it would just like make me hate past me in the future, where I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm just playing Smash Bros. I could work on my video later, and then I'm like freaking rushing the last like couple hours or whatever to finish this video. It's like I could have used the hours I was playing Smash Brothers to finish this. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe for my safety and sanity, I need to just keep the smaller battery life.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like it hasn't. So I think what we're gonna do, like last week I talked about, we're gonna get Ashley a Switch Lite and blah blah blah. So change plan there. Instead, I'm gonna get the new one for me, and she said like I'd just rather have the old Switch now because she still like at this point like she plays games, but not like enough to. She was like, I don't want to get a new thing and
Yeah,
then
but
not
then she
use it and then
can't
make
get
it feel bad.
it. But then she can't get it in yellow
I
though. Like,
know.
what's up with that, dude?
Yeah. It's true. No, but yeah, she was like, I mean, that's fine. Like it was a cute color and all, but also I think the benefit of it being like if I have my Switch at work or whatever, and she's at home, she's off or whatever, then she can play on the TV because she does use it docked. But if that was the only option, then she would have had the Switch Lite. So that said, I think it does. There's a couple use cases now where people that would have gone for the Switch Lite maybe will kind of bring that back in, because if they were going just for the battery life, for example, then well, obviously like this is better battery life. So which again, it makes sense why, like I think if I were Nintendo, I would have done the same thing as far as announcing what first. So like announce the Switch Lite, do a big PR thing, and then this afterwards. Partly because if they announce this revision first, kind of quietly, you know, where people knew about it, they'd be like, first of all, it would be way bigger news than they would have wanted it to have been, I guess, because everybody would be like, they didn't talk about it much, but there's this new Switch that's like has this increased battery life and stuff. And then when
I don't know. I think Switch Lite will still do what it's intended to do.
oh
Because
yeah,
like a lot
I
of people
definitely
think
agree.
that it's like this is what's going to take Nintendo Switch off to the next level.
Uh-huh.
You know, like this is the thing that 90% of the world's population has been waiting for. A
Yeah.
tinier Switch. That's what everybody wanted. A tinier GIMP Switch. That's what they wanted. You know, like that whole thing.
Yeah. I think really though, like
But it's a really niche market.
yeah, well, and
Honestly.
kids. Like I think that's really the big thing. Like even though their marketing wasn't pushing specifically towards kids, I think that's going to be a really just big thing where parents
I
that are
think
just like,
even for kids, it's niche because
yeah,
it's like if you have multiple kids, it's just
hmm,
smarter to get one Switch because then
yeah,
it's both your Switch, and I don't
yeah,
have to buy two or whatever or one, and then have you guys arguing over it.
right, yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I think that there are going to like kids only children. They're probably gonna it'll probably be smarter to get them a
Hmm.
Switch Lite.
Yep.
But on the whole, it's like the Switch is just an overall better deal. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
Switch Lite isn't
absolutely.
even a better handheld. Like it would be one thing if the Switch Lite had a better battery life, but
Hmm.
now it
Which
doesn't.
it did for a week,
Yeah.
theoretically, and then
So
not
it's
anymore.
not even
Yeah.
worth on that end. It's
Mhm.
not even the best portable only Switch.
Right. I do
So
wonder if so the improved battery life obviously for the new OG Switch, and like we'll probably, I bet we find out Digital Foundry does some stuff and they find out that it's like 5% or 10% better process, just doing games, whatever.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, unless they nerf it, like if they
yeah,
underclock
true.
it,
Yeah.
then it,
Which I think to my understanding, the current Switch already is underclocked for the most part. So
yeah.
like that's a thing. Also, to one thing, I know Bob and Will were talking on Wolf Den last week and or this week about like whether or not the Switch Lite could dock and whether they would like if it's the same chipset between the two, if they did it intentionally or whatever. And I think to anybody wondering about that, my best guess is more that it's hardware related as far
Yeah,
as
that's
like
what I think too.
even uh, even if it's like powerful enough or whatever to kind of do it, it would probably they would have to add more stuff to be able to make it project to the TV at because it bumps up already when you dock
Right.
it, for one
I
thing.
think
And
the
the form factor
biggest
is smaller too, so
I think the
overheating
biggest
and all that.
reason exactly. I think it's a cooling situation,
Yeah.
where that would be the reason for both of those things. Them
Mhm.
nerfing it in terms of like clock speed and all that stuff, and also it not being able to dock because I don't think it has as much cooling as the like regular Switch does.
Right.
If any, I don't know. I haven't
Mhm.
looked at it that much as far as like what the fan situation looks like and
I
all
don't
that.
know if they've shown any of that. Otherwise, I feel like we would have heard about that, but maybe not.
I mean, we could probably see what the fans look like on the Switch Lite itself.
I think the
Like,
backplate looks the same as but
it's just
whether the insides,
the top and the like, because
yeah.
where the fan is
Mhm.
on the actual Switch, like on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, top here. This, this right
Hey,
here.
you got a Switch? You've got one of those Nintendo Switches?
Yes, I have one. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it and been like, what do the fans look like? Does it still have active cooling?
Uh-huh.
Because
It'd be
I
cool
mean,
if it didn't. If
it would be their
somehow,
first like only handheld that did.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah, it does. The
okay.
fans are smaller, but they're there.
Interesting. Huh.
Or the grill, I guess, for the fan. Like obviously the
Right.
holes aren't the fan, but
Yeah, right.
the grill is smaller.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I'd assume it has active cooling, but I'd also assume not as much.
Yep. So, and actually, just real quick, Falcon asked a question that relates to this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. He asked it right before the buzzer. He said, "I'm wondering if they're using the upgraded Tegra X1 in both the new OG Switch and the Switch Lite. Why doesn't the Lite get significantly better battery life? Does it use a small capacity battery?"
Yeah. Um Battery there The Verge actually made a video, like a social video. I don't know if they posted it on YouTube or not, but they did a social post video
Hmm.
where it's basically like this is why batteries, I mean, for lack of a better word, suck. It's still. Because like the only thing that they can do to make batteries better is to remove stuff to make it more compact, so they can pack in more energy providing material.
Uh-huh.
And there's only but so much that they can do because if they remove too much of the stuff around that, which is mostly meant to prevent the battery from exploding,
Yeah.
they it's you get the Galaxy Note situation where that's
Right.
what they basically did, where they were like, okay, let's remove this much stuff more than anybody ever has, sort of situation, to make it the most efficient battery ever. And then it
Yep.
started freaking exploding in people's pockets and crap.
Yep.
Um, so that's really what it is. It's like it's a smaller form factor, so it has a smaller battery.
Hmm.
Whereas the Switch has the same chipset, so it's just as efficient, but it has more real estate to fit the same size battery that the current Switch has.
Yep. I was just talking with a coworker about this kind of thing earlier. We've like stagnated as far as battery, um, invention or whatever, pretty much over the past like 10 years or
I
something.
mean,
Like
but
as
that's the
soon as
thing.
lithium ion battery
That's
was
the
invented, it was
thing.
like, that's kind of what we got.
I mean, it's just like we haven't though. It's just the fact that computing
Right.
grows so
Yes,
much
exactly.
faster than
Hmm.
battery tech does. Where
Yeah.
battery tech is growing, but it's not growing fast enough to keep up with the fact that because of
Right.
Moore's law and all that stuff, where
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
doubles and battery tech's like, oh, just grow 25%.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's yeah, but I think that's pretty much exactly it, is that, well, what you just said. I'm not going to reiterate it because you
Yeah.
said it in smarter words than I would have.
And
Um,
according to the Verge video,
mhm.
they're working on new tech and they have ideas for
Oh,
battery. But
well
by the
then there you
time
go.
that they're going to have it figured out, computers is just going to be that much more faster. So
Yeah.
it's not going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like computers being better at doing stuff and more efficient. Like I feel like it kind of seesaws or whatever, where like it gets better at being able to do stuff like the Tegra X1 gets. It's like great CPU or whatever, blah, blah. It's good at being able to do stuff, but then they make the same exact thing more efficient. So they essentially are using an even better one, but just at less of it.
Right.
I remember Justin was on at some point too, and you guys talked about the Tegra X2. This was like long time ago when I just listened and didn't even know that words.
Yep. I mean, you didn't have a voice
I
canonically.
did.
I
Yeah,
never heard you speak.
true. Never once. But Justin was saying, like, I think you were talking about the X2 theoretically, that like either they could use it to make the Switch have the same battery life and run, like, do more things, run, better graphics and all that kind of stuff, or use like use it differently so that you can get more battery life out of the same exact games, which obviously is a more strategic move as far as not alienating the older consoles and doing the whole new 3DS situation where you have a bunch of games that are exclusive to that, because now third-party developers are like, well, we're going to target that higher thing to make our games look better, and like, sorry, everybody else, you're just going to have to deal with it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm getting a new one. It's just, that's what's going to happen, and then Ashley's going to get my old
Rip
one because that's
Yellow,
what she
dude.
wants, and
Rip
then there you
Yellow, man.
go.
Yellow had a chance
You'll
for
have a chance.
a week.
Honestly, though, here's what's going to happen: is at some point way down the road, the Switch Lite is going to get a price drop a long time down the road.
3 years from now.
Yeah. But then it's going to have so many special editions that people will be buying it for the same reasons they buy more 3DSs, just as collector things, where it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I already have 3DSs, but this one's Pokemon.
Like the fact, yeah, that I still have that tab open
Yep.
for the Pokemon 2DS, and I'm like, I don't need this,
Yep.
but I kind of want it though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's at that. So I think there's going to be more things that are like that, and like people buying them as gifts for, even if not their kids, like their friends, that they're like, I think you would like a Switch if you just gave it a chance. Like, somebody could stomach $200 for that, and even more so $150 if it gets, if it gets a price drop. So I think they're just setting that up to where it's like, this is just going to be the cheap one. We're starting it out at a price that people will pay for it, but like eventually, it'll be just more commonplace than other things anyway. So
Right.
something like that. But yeah, what else is super commonplace? It's Joy-Cons. They announced some new colors.
So many people made videos of Joy-Cons dead. Are they done with Joy-Cons? We haven't seen new colors and forever. Does that mean that they forgot what colors are and that we need more of them? And then they're like,
a week later.
all right, here's 2 sets though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that they prioritize them as much as people think they should, including me.
Yeah. Same.
But whatever, dude. Like that's not their plan. I don't need them to release new Joy-Cons every week. It would be neat, and I would probably buy none of them. But it would still be cool, like I'm still waiting for double blue to be easy to find.
Oh my goodness, same. Do you mean like the new blue?
Yeah, I just mean blue, period. Let me just walk into a store and get 2 blue ones. And
so here's what's going to happen. When I get the new Switch, I'm just going to make sure to get the red and blue neon ones, because I've got the flip side of those already. Right. I bought those at the store. So then finally I'll have double blues. Right. No, I just thought about it. I was like, because Mitch has red and blues too, but he also has the ones that you bought at the store. So like, we don't have the because he loves red. So like, I think he would do double red if he could. Whatever, doesn't matter. But like, no, I don't know why they haven't made them just more. Because in Japan, I think you can buy any combinations, right?
Yeah, you can just straight up. It's like a colorware thing.
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, what Joy-Con do you want, and what straps do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it's like.
I don't know why, like, because they can just still sell the same ones in the store that they do now. Like the combinations that are there. These are just the ones that we sell in the store, the retail versions.
But they're still not even like, they're not though. Like they sell double blue, but I can't find them anywhere. So it's like, unless I buy them used or something.
Yeah, right.
Dude, are you crazy?
I think they should get their website up and running so that you can just order them more easily to be, because I really want 2 of the new blue color, because I like it a lot and it's pretty.
Just give me all of the blue ones.
Yeah, pretty
Nintendo,
much.
Hit me up, man. I'll make a video about blue things. I'll do the history of Nintendo and blue.
I hope
you 100% do that video.
It'll be 25 minutes long, even longer than the last one. It'll be
43 minutes long.
I was talking with Falcon too on Twitter after they announced them, and like, yeah, there's a lot of other things. Like, I mean, you kind of talked about it in your controller thing, but like the fact that they haven't done more modular ones in the first place, with like GameCube
Right.
shaped ones and any of that kind of stuff where like it's just baffling to me because it's like I don't know if they're trying to play the long game and like they're going to get crazier and crazier down the
Here's
road.
Here's the thing. Tinfoil hat time. Put it on,
Yep.
Parker. I know you got it. Where's it at? Put it on.
Yep, got it.
This is what they're going to do. They're going to say, here's the Nintendo GameCube Joy-Con, and it's bundled with 5 GameCube games that you like, because we're not doing virtual console, but we'll do it like this, though. Here's codes for the individual games. It's Super Mario Sunshine. It's Super Smash Brothers Melee. It's Luigi's Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Resident Evil. Bada bing, bada boom.
There you go. That's 4 games that you could think of that are on the GameCube.
Yeah, 4 GameCube games right now. Off the top of my head. What? F-Zero GX.
Wind Waker. I don't know. Some other stuff.
Yeah, but
some
that's the Wii U game now.
Yeah, that's true.
It was appropriated. But yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, oh, the N64 pack. Here's all the garbage. Just hey
man, I'm down. I will do it.
The promotional picture is just going to be a trash can. It's going to be a garbage jar. It's going to be like, this is trash, but we know you want it anyway.
Yep.
It's going to be, but that pack is going to come with 3 Joy-Con, and the third one's going to slide into your USB-C.
Okay.
That's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Man, AJ's so smart. How did you even know that? I do wonder, like, obviously, I think it's too late this year they're not going to do the N64 Classic, which would have been great.
Right, he said it. Ed, my best pal, he said it. You don't remember that? He said they're done. They're not doing that no more. They're going to do the classic games on the Switch. That's what
I want them to do an N64 Classic. Come on.
But the N64 is garbage, and they know it. That's why they're like, all right, this is
honestly, I think the controller is like
granted. NES, borderline garbage. right on the precipice. It's like just there, you know.
I think NES. I won't get into that.
There's
a lot of like
as you
strong nostalgia
forward,
kind of stuff. In the same way that the N64 is strong nostalgia, the NES is the same way. Where some of the games are like, in and of themselves, by today's standards, like they're not really
most of them trash. You know, like I know we're playing good cop, bad cop here. I know you want to be the good cop, but most NES games garbage, dude. But then you get like the Super Mario 3s and the the original Super Mario Bros. And stuff like that, and the Legend of Zeldas and whatnot. And that's what saves it. Yep. N64 though, trash.
Man, you know I disagree. You know what I mean? That's okay. No, I think at least the N64 like a jank, lots of jank.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it, but it's like fun jank.
Some people call it trash. No,
but like Mario's okay. I love Mario 64.
Yeah, Mario 64 is fine. Diamond in the rough. You know what I mean?
But I think there's a lot of games there where it's like they're just learning about some of the things, and like the graphics, are it's the beginning of that kind of stuff.
They made us pay to be beta testers. We paid $199.99 to beta test 3D. That's what we did.
There you go. It was great. But I think
how much money that is now?
All those games, that's $200 now. AJ.
It's so much money now.
Yeah.
1996 money is a lot of money, dude.
I want N64 Classic. I want it to happen.
But then they're gonna do it because they gotta one up themselves. The first time they're like, here's 1 controller, and here's 2 controllers, and here's 4 controllers. So this thing's gonna be $120. And I'm not paying $120 for the N64. You insane?
I think they would actually, like, more realistically, I think if they did it, it would be. I think they would do 2 controllers. It would be $100 with 2 controllers, and then you could just buy an extra pack. But the thing, honestly, like I don't know how they would do their controller because the other ones are very faithful. Like this is pretty much an NES controller, and this is pretty much an SNES controller, like almost exactly. But the N64 one,
this is why they're not doing it.
I think probably
because they're like, you know what? The first 2 generations, those controllers, they're solid for the type of games that are on the platform. And you can
package them in a small package. Right.
And N64, they're like, we didn't know what we were doing, man. Nope. Are you crazy? Why are we doing this? Why would we do this with this?
Yeah. It's kind of like a Mother 3 situation where people figure like they're kind of in a catch-22 of if they put it out, as it is, people will be really mad because it's controversial. If they change it, people will be really mad because they didn't change it. Like, I feel like the same kind of thing is true
I
with
don't
this, where
know,
like,
because Earthbound is controversial. So I don't. I mean, I know
I mean,
that
I'm
that's
not
their logic.
disagreeing.
I know that's their logic, but Earthbound is that
Right.
also. There's a. I'm not going to go into that. There's like a level with a cult, and there's like again, I'm not going to that either. There's some controversy. There's some stuff that'll get a
I guess
Polygon article written about you real quick if you made a game about that now.
I
So I don't
think
know.
I guess the difference between Earthbound and Mother 3 in the re-releasing context is just the fact that Earthbound did come out, so they were like, or did get localized, so they were like, whatever, we'll just put it back out. Like, it's not new news to have it out, whereas localizing Mother 3 for the first time would be, I guess, different,
But it's
maybe.
not because we have a global market now.
Yeah,
People have played in English Mother 3 to
I
completion.
agree.
So
Yeah.
it's not like people will be like shocked by this. I mean,
I think it
granted,
wouldn't be a big deal. I think it would only
granted.
be a big deal because people have been playing it up as a big deal for a
Yeah,
while, to
it's
where
because
now it would
you
be.
can write an article about it.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
write an article about it and get the clicks.
We do like the clicks though. They're
Yeah,
always fun.
that's true, but we don't get those same kind of clicks. We
No,
don't go
no.
for those, you know? We
True.
just try to make good stuff and get the clicks. But
Yeah,
maybe we should get those clicks. Localize Mother 3, Nintendo,
that's right.
so we can get the clicks.
Yeah. But the Joy-Con colors, if you didn't see them, blah blah blah. There's blue and yellow.
Yep.
It's the yellow from Arms. I don't really know. That kind of seems odd that they. I mean, it makes sense that they're doing like what's it called? Like compare like the colors that go together or something.
Complimentary.
Complementary colors. Thank you, art class, 8th grade.
Yep.
It makes sense that they do complementary colors, but still that they'd reuse the one from Arms. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit weird, but whatever. Blue and yellow, and then purple and orange, which those are complementary too. I'm pretty sure, right? I think. Art
It's
class.
a whole thing. There's multiple.
Cool.
It's like
Nice.
it's a whole thing. It's like some colors are complementary. There's analogous colors. It's a whole thing, dude.
It is a whole thing.
So graphic design, you know.
Yeah.
Um.
That's why you do the thumbnails.
Yes. But no, they should have swapped them. They should have swapped them. They would have been better.
I kind of agree. I feel like the purple and orange, maybe they'll look fine once they're on there, but they kind of look like too close. They're a little bit mismatchy. I don't know. But
There's
I
a
guess now
reason,
you can
like,
just do it yourself.
there's a reason why. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
and that's what they want you to do. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why, like, Halloween is Halloween, because they're like, man, like, these are the colors that it is because our brains are hardwired to think that looks good.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a reason why Christmas is Christmas because
Mhm.
complementary colors, you know, like
Yep.
that whole situation. But they were like, you know what? You know what? We're gonna make you fight for those complementary colors.
I just want double blue. That's all. They're releasing October 4th, though.
Yep.
There's that for you.
Yep.
Neato. They really should also, yeah. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot more to say besides the fact that like they need to do more Joy-Cons that are easier to pick your own freaking colors.
Yeah.
Get those colors up in there because that would be. I suspect probably down the road that some of this stuff, like towards the end of the Switch life cycle, it'll just be like chucking out ideas or whatever, like the same way the 3DS is now with all the special editions that
With
came
the
out in the last
Pokemon
couple of
one.
years.
The
Yep.
one that I'm fighting myself not to get. Because I don't need it.
The Switch Lite?
No, the Pokemon 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably going to get that.
Yeah.
Unless Nintendo sends it to me, in which case, whatever color I get is whatever color I get. But the
True.
Pokemon one, probably going to have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know what you mean. Speaking of Pokemon, we got a trailer for Pokemon Masters.
Yes, we did.
We sure did. And we watched it.
Yes, we did.
And we looked at it and we said, wow, look at that trailer.
That's a trailer, man. That's some Pokemon. That's some trainers. Woo. They're battling.
Boy, howdy. It's about what we thought. I think it seems like, I mean, the 3v3 thing is new information, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of it was like, all right, well, whatever. Let's talk about it. Pokemon Masters.
Fire Emblem. It's Fire Emblem, but like Pokemon, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it is. I think it's going to do really well because of that, because Pokemon matters and people care about Pokemon.
And people like the battle mechanics of Pokemon, even though like it would be nice.
I mean, it's not really the battle mechanics of Pokemon.
So I thought I looked at it and it seemed like it was like a 4-move situation. Was it not? I guess I didn't look super
It's
closely.
not like a 1-for-1 thing. Like just the thing of like when they attack and you see 1,000 pop up on the screen. That's not a Pokemon.
Okay, that's true.
You
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
know?
notice that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it is turn-based and you can pick your moves. It's
It's like
3v3.
the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links version of Pokemon. It's
Nice.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links combined with Fire Emblem Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
very gotcha though.
Yes.
From the looks of it, comes out this summer.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like there's lots of people that, well, at this point, I feel like I'll see stuff where people are like, I want to play Pokemon, but I don't want a Nintendo console. And I don't understand who makes that comment. Because, like, since
There's
when has that
people
ever
out there,
been?
man. It's like put Mario on PlayStation 4. You know, like that type of crap.
Yeah.
There's people, man. I see those comments all the time. Not on our video. Well, actually, we did get a comment like that recently, but it was on an older video. It was on an older video where they were like,
Nice.
"You just need to put Zelda on the PlayStation 4 and not make me buy their console." I'm like, "All right, okay, dude.
Cool. Keep on hoping." Man, that's just so funny that anybody would like. Because I mean, sure, I can imagine wanting that. Like, I could see a game that's on PS4 and be like, that'd be cool. Like, I don't have PS4
because they think putting it on PlayStation 4 will fundamentally change it. Where they're like, PlayStation 4 is more powerful, so that means that's going to change Nintendo's values, and they're going to care more about power than they care about designing a game that plays well. And I just can't see that happen.
I wonder if you can tell what your thoughts are on it just from that sentence.
Hey man, I've never been the type to pull punches. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. There you go.
My whole brand is to call stuff garbage. Well, not really. I'm in extremes. You know?
Yeah. There you go.
I'm like either
like you hate Pokemon, but you love Pokemon Trainer.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even say I'm extremes because there's like I love Pokemon, but I also hate things about Pokemon. So you know,
you're the guy. You know, who's to say?
People know.
Pokemon Masters comes out this summer. You gonna play it?
What kind of question is that? Of course not. No.
That's good.
Yes, I'm playing.
Cool.
I'm not, any type of excited for it, but when it happens, I'll check it out.
Yep. Same. I mean, I'm playing Dr. Mario.
Exactly. Here's my excitement for Dr. Mario, where that was. Like right here. And Pokemon is like here.
Cool.
So I'll check it out.
Where's your excitement for Double Blues?
You're talking about the Joy-Cons? That's like
wow, that's so high. Crazy. I'm impressed.
You were in the way. They couldn't see this is my excitement for Double
Very
Blue.
high.
So give me 2 Joy-Cons. Give me blue,
Yep.
That'd be even better. # free product. That'd be even better.
That would be good. Have you asked for Double Blues?
No, but like hit me up though.
Maybe they're just waiting. They're waiting for you to ask for Double Blues, and then it'll happen.
But my birthday is coming up in what freaking 5 months. Hit me up, dude.
Nice. Well, cool. That's there were some other little news bit things that happened this week, but we've got so many questions that we didn't even do that. So, but we've got videos that we make every single week, and you guys comment on them, and then we talk about your comments. So we're going to do that. AJ made a video that took him a very long time, and
so long.
Locked it at 24 minutes, which is a long time.
It's so long. So this thing, like and I was talking to Bob about this, where it's like I think of a video, I'm like, this would be an easy video to make. Like I already know a lot of this information. All I have to do is fact check and say like, okay, I have a general idea of how this is. Let me make sure that what I think is the right thing. I already started this a long time ago, and then other stuff came up that was more relevant. And I was like, okay, I'll put this away because this is an evergreen thing. I can literally talk about this at any time. It just so happened that this was a good time to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that happened after the fact. I did not plan this. So it was just a thing of like, oh, they did a revision the day after the video went up. That's cool. So, and I mentioned it, like people were like, oh, looks like you got to do it all over again. It's like, nope, or don't, because I mentioned it. But yeah, so I was like, I started this video and I wrote like, I don't know, my scripts are usually like 1,600 words or something like that, maybe 700. And I wrote like the first 1,000 before putting this video on the shelf. So I'm like, this video is done, dude. Like, I'm pretty much done. I just got to do a little bit more. And then I
Uh-huh.
thought, I was like, oh man, no, I'm not even close to done.
Where were you in the like history of stuff at that when you'd stopped?
I don't
Like
know,
into
like,
the Game Boy or something?
yeah, like, no, I was like at
That'd probably be
like,
N64.
yeah, around N64.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's just like I added more to it because like there were certain things that I was like I didn't like mention how much it cost and like what colors it launched in and stuff like that. And I felt like
Yep.
contextually that felt like it mattered more because of the Switch Lite. So I was like, okay, let me go
Yeah,
back and see
that's
like
true.
what were the launch colors and stuff like that. So once I did that and added more stuff, it just got out of hand, and I ended up like this is like obviously what more than double what my longest video has been.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
My longest video, well, longest solo video, like without like Bob or Dan or Bob and Dan.
You've definitely had some that are at least over
Um,
12 minutes.
yeah,
Probably
I've
close
had
to like
multiple
14 or
like
15.
yeah, I've had like I'd say 15 minutes is the longest I've done collab wise.
Mm-hmm.
13 is probably the longest I've done by myself.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the longest video I've ever
In
done,
existence.
possibly ever been in that's
Yep.
scripted. Because
Yeah.
like Dan's video, the one I did with Dan was like what I don't know, like 17 minutes or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any of that. You know, I just had to talk and give him thoughts and say, this is what I think. And then
Mm-hmm.
he put it all in a script and stuff, you know?
Nice.
So like that was easy street. This one, I had to freaking edit for 20 hours.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing, like the editing wasn't the hard part. The editing was very easy. It
Mm-hmm.
just was like tedious because it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I know how much I got to do and this I'm getting to the end point. The writing was the hard part because the whole time I'm writing this and I'm trying to like keep it under 15 minutes the whole time. And I just got to a point where I was like, I give up. It's just gonna have to be what
It's
it's
gonna be
gonna
long.
actually be. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to like because you brought up, you said, why don't you break it into parts? Like, no, it's not gonna work. I can't do that. I could theoretically, I could have said like did the whole like home consoles and handhelds, but then I would like mess up
Right.
the theming because like the Switch is
Yeah.
both. So it's like I want to do both. And it's just like the video was gonna be better if I made it longer. So that's what I did.
Yep.
And I almost died because of it.
There you go.
I hope you liked it.
Uh-huh. And these people did. Well, hopefully. We're about to find out when I read their comments. 7, which I only just realized who that person on Twitter and on YouTube and stuff is. Look at that. What
Yeah,
a time.
don't dox her. I don't know if
Nope,
she
you're good.
wants
That's
that to happen.
exactly. I made the connection. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. I usually watch your content during that half-hour space between finishing my homework and starting up my game. So this was the perfect video for me since I got to learn something related to video games. And yes, please do the online history one too when you have the time. I know these types of videos take a lot of research. That's fair enough. At least you know one person will watch it. Regarding the Apple situation, I'm a pink lady kind of girl, but will accept a Star King in a pinch. I don't know what a Star King Apple is, but sure. I especially enjoy them when they almost go bad because then my mom cooks them and we get to have them with cream. Relatedly, I love apple tart, which my mom makes with a biscuit base and is almost the same, but a little different from the apple pie you Americans might know. Both are delicious with ice cream, though. Extra cinnamon is, of course, compulsory.
I learned so much about apples in this comment section. Like I wanted to find like there was a comment that I was like, you put so much thought into how you eat apples, and I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't find a comment because there were a lot of comments. A lot of people like talking about apples. It turns out, which again, I mean, we'll get to.
Yeah, very true.
But as far as like I wanted to like pull this comment because I like hearing about how people watch the videos because it helps me understand more the type of videos that I should be making and like length and stuff like that. And like I don't want to make 24-minute long videos, but it sounds like people like 24-minute long videos.
I mean, it's like same kind of thing with podcasts where so before I was on this podcast, I had another one with some friends of mine that was about music stuff. And our first episode was like, I don't know, an hour and 45 minutes or something. And my sister listened to it and she's like, you cannot have it be that long. Like it just can't be that long. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I mean, podcasts I listen to are like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, but you know, like that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, well, I've heard a lot of podcasts where on the podcast they're talking about how people are like, no, I'll make it as long as you want. Like, oh, I'll listen to it forever. And I think it's entirely, like you said, it's dependent on like when the person listens to these kind of
Yeah.
stuff, or like if it's one of those things like you listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time. At last job where I did like data entry, accounting kinds of stuff because I was like just doing numbers and numbers and numbers. So hearing words was good. Like I could multitask and do that, or like listening on a commute or whatever. But then if somebody listens to podcasts as like, this is going to be my entertainment right now, like sit down and just listen to it, then 2 hours, like that's a really
I
long
don't think
time.
I've ever done that. Like I listen to
Yeah.
usually when I listen to podcasts, that's when I play Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's like a pairing activity. Like you do it.
But to be fair, most activities that I do are pairing activities. It's very rare that I do one thing at once.
I feel the same.
This is probably the only thing that I do one thing at once. And even this, I'm barely doing that, you know, where it's like I'm on Twitter, I'm like looking just in case there's like breaking news and stuff like that. Like it just can't happen.
Are you saying I'm boring?
No,
I'm saying you don't care.
I'm saying I'm incapable of doing one thing at once. That's what I'm saying.
No, I get you. Yeah, I definitely remember. Like my family would watch, like especially when I go back home for Christmas or something like that over, Christmas break in college. We'd find some show, like a season of a show on DVD, and then just like all sit down and watch together. And I remember one Christmas I was playing through Pokemon Red, I think, and like at some point my mom would just make a comment like you gonna watch it with us? And I was like, oh, I'm watching. I'm very much watching. But I just happen to be also doing it at the same time. But especially because it's like just a turn-based thing where I can just stop for as long as I want, look up at the screen, and then I keep on going. But then I also realized like that matters to her, so then I stopped doing it around her, so that like showing love and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But all that to say, multitasking. But yes, very interesting stuff, Seven. Thank you for that. F-Zero Kid. Falcon, you changed your name. Look at that, I think.
Did he?
F-Zero something else, right?
I don't know. He changes his name every 3 seconds.
Dope. Love it.
Names different things at different places,
F-Zero Kid. The RVL 101 launched at $149.99. Whatever that is. I worked at
what's
the RVL?
It's the Wii revision that I was like, I don't know how much this costs.
Okay. Was that the one, the family Wii or whatever that?
It was the first one that they did that they took the GameCube stuff out of.
That's right. So before
they didn't change the disc drive. So the one that's not the Wii Mini, but it's kind of the Wii Mini, but with the disc drive. Did
that one still have internet in it? The RVL 101 or whatever?
I don't think so.
Gotcha. Because the Wii Mini definitely didn't, and that was a mistake.
Yeah. That they took out. I think they took out all the same stuff on both of them, except the big differentiator for the Wii Mini was they changed the disc drive.
And they're like, just form factor kind of in general. And it was like red. And I almost got that one. Like after I got married, we were like, we need a Wii because we need a Wii. And I almost got that. And then I was like, doesn't do GameCube, doesn't have internet.
You just get a regular Wii, dude.
And so we got a regular Wii.
You get a Wii for like $12, man. They're all over the place. You know how much that thing sold?
I think we got, exactly. We got it for like $50 at a place. But yeah, Falcon. I worked at Toys R Us back then in the electronics department. Gala apples are hype.
This is the type of thing, and I told them this in the comment. This is the type of thing that you people need to be telling me. If you work at Nintendo, let me know, man, because that's useful.
My uncle, by the way, works at. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I bet. But like, come on, man, help a guy out. I could have been like, Falcon, you worked at Toys R Us. I can't find this price anywhere. How much did it cost? And he could just be like, and he's like, you didn't ask me. I'm like, how would I know to ask you that question? Am I supposed to ask all of you individually? Hey, have you worked at any retail stores at all ever in your life?
Like, I mean, of course. Man. Isn't that the first thing you ask everybody when you meet them? P.S. Favorite console revision would have to be the SP, and favorite console release was the GBA. Being the 4th/5th grade, reading Nintendo Power with my friends, talking about new games and whatnot was the best part of that gen. Same with the GameCube later that year. It was summer, and my aunt got me an Arctic White GBA with Super Mario Advance, and F-Zero, Maximum Velocity, and a Worm Light all in on day one. It was a good time. I think I like the fact that my brother got my old Yeah, I think I like the fact that my brother got my old Game Boy Color, so I didn't have to share my new handheld. Smart.
Dope, dude.
Yep.
Dope.
I love the GBA. It
I
was a good
had
old time.
so many Game Boy Advances. It's ridiculous.
I think I only ever had the one, and I never got an SP. But I always was
I had
envious
an
of them.
SP. My grandparents for Christmas they bought all the cousins, everybody a Game Boy
Nice.
Advance SP, and I got a gold one. Everybody
Yep.
else was pissed because they got silver,
And
and
that's
it was like a whole thing because it's like, wait, his is different because it's like real subtle. Like
mhm.
it's not like this thing of like it's gold, but like you put it next to a silver one, it's like, oh, this is a gold one.
Yep.
So they were real mad about that. And then I got a blue one, and I had a regular Game Boy Advance. I had two of those. I had a indigo one, and I had a pink one for whatever reason. I think my friend
Nice.
had a pink one, and then he gave it to me, and I was like, whatever, dude. And then I had a blue Game Boy Advance SP, and that was the brighter one.
Uh-huh. I'm curious. Okay, if you're listening, comment down below. If you're listening on podcast form, come to YouTube, comment down below. I was talking with friends the other day about like reminiscing over being in the car and having to like lean out the side of the window to like be able to see your screen because I didn't have a worm light for some reason, or I did and the battery died once and my parents were like, sorry about it. Or I just didn't tell them and they would have done something and I just didn't know because I was dumb. But that's something that like starting from SP onward, that just wasn't an issue for anybody ever again. Like you
Right.
just could see your screen at all times pretty much, unless you're like in the dead summer sunlight, whatever. But so I'm just
And even
curious to
then,
get a
just turn the
poll.
light off.
Yeah, right. So I'm curious for other people's like just if you're listening, do you have memories of that, like having to like being able to squint to see the Game Boy screen, or are you past that generation? Because I'm just curious. That's all.
Were you privileged as a kid?
I was. What a time. Good stuff. Yeah, Game Boy Advance was awesome. Spectrum Bots 42. I remember watching a video from YouTuber Adam Karalik a few years ago in which he talked about the possibility of the Switch's performance prior to its release. He brought up a great point in that video regarding Nintendo's hardware. Successful systems such as the SNES, Game Boy, DS, or Wii have had hardware revisions, whereas less successful systems such as the Wii U, GameCube, or N64 didn't have any hardware revisions whatsoever. The DS Lite is my favorite, and yellow apples are my favorite apples.
I think I've had one yellow apple in my life, and it was fine.
There you go.
Yep.
DS
Lite's dope, man.
Yep. It is interesting. I guess like chicken and an egg situation a little bit, where like to some degree you would think if there's hardware that's like not great or something or not doing super great, theoretically they could do a revision to it to like fix it, quote unquote, to like make it better so that people would be more into it later. So like with the DS, you would know better than me, you did all the research and stuff, but like the original DS did like well, but the DS Lite was really what like
the DS Lite, like the regular DS was like, this exists, but the DS Lite was like, oh, that might as well have just been the console generation.
Yeah,
like if they just did the DS Lite, they would have been like, it would have been their most successful handheld at that time.
So that just begs the question, like with I don't know what they would have done to the GameCube, I guess, to do that kind of thing. And like it's hard, it's easier with handhelds to do that, I think, because there's more quality of life to be fixed in a self-contained thing than there is like in a GameCube. The quality of life things, like you also have a TV that's in question and other things. Whereas with a handheld, it's like it's just right there. So like if you can fix a screen, that's like part of the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the DS is the thing that kind of changed their perspective on hardware revisions for the most part, where it's like, oh no, we can do this for more money. Like, and that's just the more blatant like approach to it. Whereas the other ones were a thing of like fixing problems, like that sort of thing. And I guess the SNES was kind of the exception to that rule. But for the most part, other than the SNES, which kind of was we can do this for more money. All right, the N64 is out. We need something for kids. but it was never like the tentpole thing of like, this is why you should buy another DS this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that kind of changed the perspective on it. But yeah, like there is that correlation of like the less successful hardware did not get revisions. I don't know what a GameCube revision would be.
I know. That's same. Honestly, I feel like
I feel like the Switch is kind of Wii U's revision. Like honestly, the Switch is kind of Wii U's revision.
Yeah, a little bit. GameCube revision. The only thing I could think, honestly, is if they'd done a GameCube with a DVD drive.
Yeah, but all
the GameCube games still are just GameCube.
This is
size.
the thing.
Yeah.
They did that. I didn't mention
the Panasonic Q.
Exactly.
Right.
I didn't mention it because it was a region-specific thing.
Right.
It was like for China and all that stuff. And it was like,
but like if they, they could. I feel like they could have easily, because honestly, that was a huge selling point for the PS2. Was like tons of people bought it.
Justin brought that up, and I think the reason why they didn't do that, and the reason why it worked for like PlayStation, is because they were able to have it at such a low profit, price point, because their profit margin would be bigger because they have pull with DVD, like they're part of that whole.
That's situation.
True. Whereas Nintendo had to pay licensing for it. So
that's a good point. Yeah. I don't even think about DVD being like a licensed thing. Like in my mind, it's a form factor. We're like, no, there's more to it than that. That's so funny.
And so, I mean, some of them, like, like USB-C, right? Like that was largely an Apple thing. And people were like shocked that they're like, it's open source. Like they don't make people like pay crazy licensing fees and stuff like that to use that. But Sony was like, nope. You're paying us licensing for that. Same with Blu-ray. Which is why Nintendo was like, nope. Not doing Blu-ray for Wii U. Like it's like with Wii U, they did kind of Blu-ray where it's like specifications wise it was similar, but it wasn't the same. And like that was the closest they got, and I guess the Wii was similar too. Where that's the closest they got to like the industry standard without doing the industry standard.
That is interesting, because I have always wondered why didn't the Wii play DVDs and stuff like that, but that makes sense. Just licensing stuff. Wow.
Yep.
Weird.
That's why, like the Xbox One, right? Like the Xbox One has a Blu-ray drive, but it needs software to tell the Xbox you can play that Blu-ray drive, like that Blu-ray disc. Because it very much so is a licensing thing, and if they didn't pay the licensing, then they couldn't use that format.
Yeah. Crazy. Grim Haynes says apple juice. Solid. Yep. Agreed. I mean, that's not the best kind of apple, but it's good. 84 is not 64, AJ. A good way to remember memory sizes is to remember they are effectively a multiple of 8. Yes, 2 and 4 exist, but not for anything post-90s. You'll start seeing 8s as the base storage media, being and bit more of a holdout.
Okay, for this, I talked about it with him in the replies. It wasn't a memory thing. It was this video is 24 minutes. I'm trying to rush it out. My camera deleted half of my on footage stuff. So I'm reshooting it for the 3rd time in a row, trying to get the video up in time. It's 3:45 p.m. I got to finish this video in 15 minutes. So I'm rushing. I didn't double check to be like, oh, that's the result. Because like on the screen, it says what it says. And it's not storage. And also, no, that's not completely true what he said about them not using it anymore. Because like, I think it was the Wii. One of their consoles has 88 megabytes of like RAM of some sort, just completely. Like they're like in different caches and like allocated to different things.
Right.
But it's not like 32 gigabytes of RAM, like that whole thing. So yes,
the standard exponents.
I flubbed on that. I had the right information. I just read it wrong.
Way to go. Way to make mistakes. I love these history lessons on Nintendo stuff, so of course I want to see a video on the history of online. The only issue is it's hard to make a comment on them because as they tend to be less discussion-based and more lecture-based.
See, this is the
good point.
Most times If I put a comment in from somebody that already has something somewhere else, it's because
Mhm.
they said something I want to touch on. It's
Yep.
like, all right, you made a point that I want to address.
Mhm.
And this was the point, not the point before that.
Yep.
Uh, yes. That's why I try to put things like the Apple thing, and like
Yep.
I try to give you prompts of like, this is something that I'd like your opinion on.
Mhm.
Um, and just generally like the topic itself, I feel like when I see stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, I remember having a Game Boy, or that's
Mhm.
interesting idea, blah blah blah. And like I don't think it always needs to be a thing of like if because like a lot of times what people go to when responding to a video like this is to
Mhm.
correct you. You know, like
Right.
that's what they're looking for, and it's like, oh, this was wrong, blah blah. But I think that there's like related things that we can
Mhm.
talk about,
Or even just like telling stories. I mean, like a lot of
or
people
just
said,
being
like,
like, this is a
like,
good video. I
yeah,
appreciate it. I like
true.
stuff like this. It could have just like been the second half of the comment, and then that helps us algorithmically. It helps me know that the video that I make is something that you like and I should make more of. Like when I get comments like this, it's like, okay, yeah, so this is the direction that we need to continue to go in more.
Mhm.
Because like um I don't know. I feel like that's becoming more and more a part of like what our channel does, because like you have the thing of like, oh, like speculative about like Nintendo games and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like that is a tent pole that we do videos like that a lot.
Mhm.
Now the history thing is becoming more and more common. And it's like figuring out what videos like that resonate so we can make more like that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, comments like that help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got some Apple comments
Yeah,
here.
I
The
just
last
was
couple.
like, all right, rapid fire, because there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
said Apple stuff, so I just want to pull all those.
There you go. Pat Green, Apple Jelly, and Super Game Boy, the OG Switch experience.
What
Good.
about a apple jelly colored Super Game
Ooh,
Boy? What about that?
man alive.
Super
Yep.
Game Boy was dope. I played so much Pokemon Yellow on that.
Hassase or Hackasay, something like that. Apple Pie. There seems to be nothing better. I was really into my 3DS XL first edition just till I got on the Switch boat in 2018, mainly for Smash Bros. Glad
Yes,
you joined us.
apple pie is dope.
Apple Pie
With
is very
ice cream, ice cream,
true.
ice cream.
Rosa Sabe, Rosasabe,
Rosa
Rosa
Sabe,
Sabe.
that's what it is. Bob gets it wrong all the time too. Don't
Cool.
feel bad.
Rosa Sabe. I got it right and then second guess myself. Candied apples are the best. I hmm,
You see,
that's an opinion, all right.
I like candy apples.
They're
But like, you know what?
here. Okay, I'll say this about candied apples: they're the flavors complement each other super well. But the only problem is that like once you get through the caramel outside kind of part, and then you just have the apple inside part, like it's not. It's hard to get the ratio right for long enough to like get
Yeah,
bites of
but you
both.
got to get like the ones that have like. I mean, this is probably hurt your teeth worse, but like evolution. uh, um, it has like the other stuff on it, like the freaking nuts and chocolate and
I mean,
that type
that's
of crap.
delicious. Yeah, I'm down.
Dope, dope, dude,
Yeah.
real dope.
But it's yeah, I caramel and apple very good together. Antonio Miranda says apples were made to be eaten raw. There you go.
That's a take, dude.
That is a take.
Take.
I will say it's interesting to me. I remember as a kid, apples as like an apple versus cut up into slices.
Uh-huh.
It's so much easier to eat a
Yes,
whole apple as slices.
yes. I
I
thought
mean, like
you were gonna say some stupid stuff. I thought you were gonna say something real dumb.
no, but I just
Yeah,
remember having that revelation, like that. My mom would be like, "Eat an apple." She doesn't talk like that, but she'd be like,
yeah.
"Hey, honey bear, you should eat an apple or whatever." And yeah, as like if it was all sliced up, I'm like, "Heck yeah, I'm eat that apple right now." And then if it's like a full apple, it's like, I mean, I guess it's going to be a chore. It's like, what's the difference? It's just easier. But finger.
I think it's the angle that you like. Like the skin is like inherently rougher,
Yeah,
but
no,
you
it's.
could just bite into the flesh of the apple. You could
I
bite
also
into its soul.
I had a friend that he ate the whole apple, so except for the literal stem part, like he ate everything, core, seeds, and
Yeah.
all. But
Yes.
which like that's a thing. But he stood by the fact that the bottom of the apple is the most flavorful because when it's hanging on a tree, that's like where all the juice goes down to. And I was like, the juice is in like tons of little pockets all throughout the thing. Like it's not migrating around an apple and dangling to the bottom. Then it would be a balloon. Like that's not how that works.
I just know that there's people like apple cores are a myth. You got to eat it like this, and it's like I'm not doing all that, dude.
I'm just
my older sister, not the one you know about, the other one. I have 2 older sisters.
Nice, congratulations on that.
I mean, depends on who you ask.
But you're asking me. I say congratulations.
But yeah, I have another older sister, and she used to eat apples and eat the whole thing, and then like she had like this little piece of apple. It looked like a bag. It's real weird, and she left the seeds in there. It's like you're strange.
Yep.
You're a weird child.
Crazy old times.
I don't know, like 6 years older than me.
Last but not least, Sarge 133 apple pie. It's a classic for a reason. It's too good for words.
Yo, apple pie is top tier. It probably is the thing that people said the most.
Probably so. Apple crumble. I think you said you hadn't had it, but
I don't know what that is.
It's pretty much like, it's kind of like an apple pie, except for it's got sort of like little it unpied, I guess. I don't know.
What?
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like the inside of an apple pie. It's like that same kind of a thing, except for it's got lots of little like crunchy bits in it that are, sort of like if it's an apple pie, but it's not like just on the top and bottom anymore. It's kind of mixed in, but it's a little bit crunchier, and it's very good. I don't know. I haven't had it in a long time, but it's really good. So it's tasty, and it's got a lot of cinnamon, and we love it in our family. Moving right along. That's it for apples and your video and whatnot. I did a video on Mario Maker, and
you might not have known. Mark did a video.
It was going to be last week, which maybe it would have done better last week. I don't know. I think maybe people are just kind of falling off the Mario Maker train a little bit and moving on to other things, which is fine. But that was just a bit of a surprise. It's like, oh, nobody really wants to watch it. But the people that did, I hope you enjoyed it.
Maybe they did, Maybe they did. And YouTube just was like, they don't want to watch this.
Yeah. Good old algorithms. But we did. So I asked for some people to submit their levels, and then we're going to talk about 3 of those that we played that people left comments for. And we're going to do that. So there you go. That Call of Duty gamer said, I made a Sunshine Pachinko machine theme level, and then gave me the code. And the code is KWLRLGT5G if you want to play it yourself at home.
Just in case my audio was there at the beginning, it's KWLRLGT5G. That's what it is. That's the code. It's Super Pachinko. Okay, now this level.
Yeah,
I like the idea, and I also hate the idea because
it's the worst part of Sunshine.
Yeah,
the best way. But
it's like, oh, this is neat, like how you did this, and there's like a way to do it where it's like it's not completely annoying, and you have to go back to the top, and then like, I missed the thing because you can like sit on the donut and then ride the donut down. And it's like, oh, okay, there's one, jump off. All right, jump back on the donut, ride down. There's another one, jump off. But you pretty much can't do that in one shot. You got to do at least 2 from what I know. And it's a neat idea.
Yep.
The execution, because of its inspiration, annoying. But I like the level. It's my favorite one out of the 3.
The overworld was great as well. Like
that was
like lots of little. There were some secrets in there that were good. There was like one spot where there was a crate hanging out in the water that was like, "What's this doing?" And I stood on it, and there was a little box right there, and I was like, "Cool." So there were a lot of like cool things. Having the piranha plants to spit fire and all that, because with the sunshine and spitting paint and whatnot. So like a lot of that cool stuff. I think honestly, the only part that was just the pachinko machine part itself was, I think it was about as bare as because thinking back to in Sunshine, it's literally just a board and you're just trying to fall in the spots, and it's the most annoying thing in the universe.
Yep.
I don't know exactly what, but I think I would think to add maybe just more something in there, more substance, or like maybe.
I think if you want, if your goal is to make it, if your goal is to make it less annoying, put coins to be like, this is the directions that you need to go.
The only downside of it being in Super Mario Maker as opposed to in Sunshine is you can't zoom out as far to be able to see like where it's gonna be. So that's like a difference that like even though it's accurate to the original, the feel of it's going to be a little different because like our senses are just different based on the game mechanic itself. But it was, yeah. It
But I
was,
mean, again, if you want to keep the feeling of the original and have it be annoying, you can keep it how it is.
yeah, and it was great. So, but obviously people liked it a lot. There were a lot of fun comments on it and stuff like that. So I think you did a really good job, that Call of Duty gamer. And like I said, I thought the overworld, all that stuff, there were a lot of little nods, and they did a great old job there. So yeah, good job on that level. Orange Monks made so my first attempt at a horror level, it had to go through 3 revisions, and the code for this one is HKJX4DCMG, and I loved this level.
This was the level that like I don't like in practice, but I like it in theory. I like it. Just feels like the Cat Mario, like that whole thing. Where it's like the thing that Mario has taught you to do, you don't want to do in this level. Turns out,
Cat Mario does kind of bug
and
me.
even this level,
Mm-hmm.
it trolls you in that same way, where it's like go this way, but
Mm-hmm.
really you're not supposed to go that way.
Yeah,
So it's like, but
I
what were you
think.
saying?
Yeah, no, the concept was great. So the concept of this one is it's the evil mushrooms are chasing you around the level.
Yeah,
I
which
guess
is
as
good.
revenge for the fact that you've gotten, all their
You
mushrooms.
eating all their family.
And actually, it might be too because the subworld is 1-1, but
Yeah,
with some stuff added, and
yeah, which is cool.
all the mushroom or they're mushrooms that are hidden under what I think are blocks,
Yeah,
or should be blocks, which is representative of, I'm guessing, in
yeah, like
apparently
they in the
every brick is a
manual.
toad that's been turned into a brick, and then you're killing all of them.
Yeah,
So if that's what it was, which I'm guessing it is, like,
yeah, that was very cool.
just a great touch.
That's
Um,
what I'm saying. I like
yeah,
it in theory. Playing it, very frustrating. But
it
again,
was.
it's probably your goal,
Yep.
so
I
you
mean,
did it.
it was a very puzzly level. I mean, it wasn't like crazy hard puzzle, but like that was the point. Is like
Yeah,
backtrack, figure out where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do. It was pretty clearly marked. I felt like once you
yeah,
knew, like I got to where I was like, oh, that's a really short level. Like it was kind of cute, and then like the end's right there, and then it trolls you.
yeah.
That's not the
See,
end.
that's
So
the thing. That is the part. And again, a lot of this is like a reviewer thing, where it's like that's a problem with like the how reviews work just generally in
yep,
terms of like critical
yep,
gaming in that whole situation. How you play the game to like review it is going to be
hmm
different from how anybody else plays the game. Nobody
yep,
else is going to play it the same way. So the fact that the conditions that I played this under is that I had a half an hour before I had to start getting ready to like do the podcast, and I didn't
uh-huh,
know how long it was going to take me to beat this level. So I
yep,
went through and I was like, all right, there's just a point where I'm at the thing and I got to go around and do the whole thing, and I don't got time to replay this. So I was like, okay, I'm done. But like, had it just been me playing normal,
yep,
then yeah, it's something that I figured out, and it's like I know
yep,
what to do, but it's just going to
hmm
take me too long to go back and undo what I did.
yep.
So
Yeah. Whereas I had just a little bit more time, I guess, and was playing through it pretty casually. And so like I was actually surprised, like, oh, the end's like it's kind of close. Like, oh, that was really short. But then so
yeah,
I was
that's the
happy to
part that
find
I
like,
got. I
oh, there's
got to
more.
the end
I was
and
like,
I
oh,
got to the thing, and I'm jumping up, and it has
cool.
and I'm like, all right, dude.
So I think you should go if you didn't get to actually like finish the level, you should go back and play because it's got some fun stuff in it, some
Yeah,
neat little touches. But in any case, Orange Monks, I thought it was really good. I had a fun time. So there's that. And then last but not least, JBell17. I just wanted to make a level, so I came up with this and then gave the code. I'll read it in a minute. It's based off some mechanics that I liked and speed running because I love those levels fun. I found those levels fun. And then P.S. The ski slopes level was dope. That was the one that I made. Thank you for that. I'm glad you liked it. And the code is 1VDG89YGG. Yeah, this level.
I like this level. This level's cool. It's real neat.
Yeah.
It is speed runnery.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I don't know, like, and I struggled with this in terms of like when I made my level,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like I didn't want to like make people have to speed run it,
Mm. Right. Yeah.
Where this level kind of like it doesn't give you a chance to like figure it out, which
Right.
I mean, really, that's what speedrunning does. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's figuring the game out so you can break it.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, this level forces you to already have it figured out, and a lot of it is like um, knowing how far the level wants you to jump. So it's like you
Right.
have to understand the level, but you're not given time to understand the level
Mm-hmm.
within the playthrough of the level. So you have to like play it multiple times. And
Yep.
it's a short level, so like it's
Mm-hmm.
not that hard to do.
Yep.
But in terms of like design and like how speed running levels are generally designed,
Mm-hmm.
or how speed running like games that are popular for with speed runners, they're not like that.
Yep.
Where it's like they're not all like you have 30 seconds to beat this level because that's the world record.
Yeah. Right. Whereas it was a pretty tight timer, all things
Yeah,
considered.
it's like 15 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. My comments on it are I liked like a lot of the concepts and the things. The indicator, I would have liked it to be just a little bit better indicated, to where there was some bits maybe that were and some jumps that whether it was on purpose or not, I did a lot of turnbacks, so like it wasn't a full jump, but it wasn't a half. It was like a like a full jump and then kind of like turn back on things. So it didn't like it. Not all the jumps flowed super nicely one
Yeah.
into the other. Some of them
And that
did.
and that's what I mean. Like,
Hmm.
if you're able to like survey the level or have time to like look at it and
Hmm.
and like do that whole thing, you can
Yep.
figure that out.
Right.
But with how short the time limit is on this, you kind of have to already
Yeah.
have the whole thing figured out and jump when you need to jump. And
Yep.
it feels like the sort of thing that like you think like, oh yeah, this is plenty of time because you made the level.
Right.
But like for anybody else, like they've never seen this level before.
Hmm. And I think with that kind of thing, it's totally a question of what you're going for. Because I think not doing full jumps or that kind of thing like does make it harder. So if you just want it to be harder, then that's reasonable to do. So it's a question of whether you're prioritizing more the difficulty of somebody like getting the right kind of a jump there, or prioritizing like the fluidness or something like that of it, where like, okay, well, that like as soon as I land here, it just makes sense to jump at this time and like have some coins for indicators and stuff like that. So yeah, so I mean, that said, I think there's, depending on what you're going for, it either did exactly that or could be tweaked a little bit, just to consider some of those sorts of things. But
Mhm.
in any case, it was good and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I liked the riding of the sideways thwomp section going into the. I messed up on that second spiny a couple of times,
Yeah,
like
same.
landing, like the jump there. I landed on the spike right afterwards. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
but finally got.
And a couple of times, like getting to like right before the red platform
Yep.
things or whatever, and like it
Same.
has the thing of like, hey, you landed at the wrong place. I knew you were going to land there. It's like,
So yeah, good times. Yeah, so those were some things, and then now we've got a whole bunch of questions. You guys ask us questions, and well, actually, before we have questions, we have something slightly different. But you say words to us, and we say words back. So
yep,
every time you listen to the podcast, you can comment down below, and then we'll grab some of those comments and read them off the next week. So we're going to read some comments from last week.
yep.
Here we go. Mr. Meach. Dang, AJ, are you profiling me for being a PC gamer? I see how it is. We're not all PC master race circle jerkers, you know. I think what drives me towards the PC is a mix of nostalgia and general love for tech. I grew up with an old hand-me-down Pentium 4 PC and a PS2 as the first game systems I ever actually owned and were mine, and I love tinkering with my PC and other hardware. Like I've done shell swaps on my Pro Controller and Joy-Cons. It's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I'm just saying, most of the PC gamers I know kind of jerks about it. So it was refreshing to know that you are not, like you're a PC gamer, but you're still not like all pretentious about it.
Yep.
But as far as like all that other stuff, like I think I kind of had like all of those things. Like I like my first I had a PC that was like similar setup. But I just didn't care about that, or it's like I didn't have that experience of like this is what I had, so this is what I became, and this is how I play games. It's like I
Right.
had options, and then just certain ones resonated with me more.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have conversations with my aunt who was around my age. But she's like, I always thought you were going to be a PlayStation gamer because like you played your PlayStation more than anything else. And it's like, yeah, but like I was a kid and stupid. And in retrospect, just thinking of like the type of games that Nintendo makes and like that sort of thing, I just like those more. I like how they're designed better. So like that's why I play the games that I play, rather than it being something that I was like forced into, kind of, where it's like, this is what you got, so play that. But yeah, like I said, I pulled that comment because I thought it was interesting that you're a PC gamer, and I don't see that very often in our comments, unless
True
they're
that.
mad. Unless they're mad and they're like, the Switch is underpowered. And
I mean, compared to like PCs. Yep.
Yeah, but like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. We get fun games and we have a grand old time. We have enough to talk about for more than 2 hours every single week.
Yep.
There's some fun things happening. Falcon says, how does me losing to someone in handheld mode make me feel? About the same as losing to someone playing in docked mode. Fun fact, in the Smash 4 days on Wii U, I played with my 3DS as my controller, and I played Brawl with sideways Wiimote. So if you're good at Smash, you're probably going to be good regardless of the control scheme. The MU is still 70-30 in my favor, so yeah.
Falcon and I talked about this in the comments.
Yeah, you
Falcon
did.
exaggerates how good he is in Smash Brothers. He's definitely better than me. But I wouldn't say he's that much better than me. And it is like a whole, it has a lot to do with the fact that like only really started playing Smash Brothers and thinking about it competitively with this game. Like I've always been like around the whole thing of like, like there's always that friend that's like, like, he's really good at Smash, like that. I've always been that, but I've never looked at it and been like, oh yeah, like what's the matchup for this? And like, how I got to do freaking fairs and nair. I never called it a nair in my life, but now that I'm like watching tournaments and like that sort of thing, I didn't know competitive players other than Zero when Smash 4 was a thing, but now I'm like paying attention to that stuff. So it's like, it's a whole other thing. He still has way more time invested into playing it in this way and thinking about it like that, and way more people to play against like that. Because right now, even me playing Smash, how I play Smash, I'm mostly playing Elite Smash, which is mostly comprised of people that aren't good at the game. They just
spam King DDD.
Yeah, I got DDD. I'm just going to throw the Waddle D's. I mean, the the Waldos and stuff at you or whatever, and that's just what I'm going to do. So it doesn't help you get better because you're learning how to deal with bad habits, not learning how to actually play the game.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's
that.
And then we'll get some more smack talk on the comments for this video. Moving along. Mark Andrews says, I have a Hori stand when I use my Switch in tabletop mode. I never use the kickstand. Seems too wobbly. I use tabletop mode when I'm doing office hours at work. Students are supposed to drop in, but rarely do. I use tabletop more than handheld because I prefer to use the Pro Controller. Yeah, it's reasonable. Nice.
Yeah, no, I've done that one time, and it was at PAX. When a dude walked up to me, Bob, and Will and was like, hey guys, I have a Switch thing that I think you guys should try out. Here it is. And it's like this, like this mount that you can mount your Pro Controller to your Switch without the Joy-Con and play it like that. But I've never like put it on a stand on a table or something and played it like, because the screen is too small for all that. I'm not doing that. Rather just play handheld at that point.
The only times that I do it is if I'm sitting at my kitchen table for some reason, like, I don't know. I can't think of a specific example of why this would be, but like every once in a while, I'll just be like sitting at my kitchen table and playing in handheld mode and be like, this table's super awkward to be like sitting on like that or like holding it in my lap. So then I'll just take it off and use the Joy-Cons and play that way. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. So yeah, my kickstand's still in great shape because I don't use it very often at all. But it does kind of suck. So good stuff, Mark. And then last comment from last week is from Seven. My favorite Pokemon of each type is every evolution except Fire, which is Blaziken. And for these types, and for the types that don't have an evolution, I don't care at all because I just love Eevee, and maybe someday there'll be an evolution for every type. So I don't want any other Pokemon to overshadow my beautiful children like Blaziken did with poor Flareon. There are no deep.
To be fair, Blaziken did you a favor because Flareon is trash.
Works both ways. There are no deep meta reasons for my preferences either. I like Blaziken because I think it's a cool looking design, and it was the first thing I ever cosplayed. Plus, Torchic was my first starter as a kid, so it's all sentimental. As for Evolutions thing, one day I just fell in love with Eevee and its evolutions for no reason. I already have an Eevee tattooed on my left arm, and I'm planning to add all the evolutions as time goes by.
That's also dope.
Yep. I hope we get new evolutions with this gen. That would be nice.
I think they just started doling them out. They're just like, here's one, you know, it's like in the beginning, we got 3, and then we got 2, and then later we got 2 more.
Gen 7?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. Yes. No. Wait. Gen 7 was the last one, so no.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So
we got Sylveon with X and Y.
Gotcha. Okay. So
speaking of that,
last gen,
are you playing that yet?
Oh no, I haven't started yet.
Yo, how dare you?
I'm going to. I promise. But yeah, that's it for the comments from last week, and now we're into the actual questions and stuff. So if you asked a question somewhere on the many places, here it comes. We asked on YouTube community, so here's these ones first. Mark Andrews, just heard from you, and here's the thing again. I've never played a Luigi's Mansion game before. I'm not feeling 3 either from what I've seen of it. I don't get the hype around it. Why is everyone so excited for it?
We forgot to say Luigi's Mansion is coming out on Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
They picked our spooky month.
They sure did.
We had that whole situation. We're like, which spooky month they're going to pick, and they picked ours.
Actually, there's a question about that. I think Grim Hain asks about that in a little bit.
Oh, that's okay.
Gotcha. So, but yeah. Here, I'll just ask just that part. He has a billion questions. So just that. Was anyone really surprised by Luigi's Mansion 3's release date? Actually, yeah. I just didn't think they were going to do it. Like, it's the obviousest thing, but there's so many times that they don't do the obvious thing. So, like,
and there's several reasons why they might not do the obvious thing. Because it's not like Luigi's Mansion always comes out on Halloween.
Right. And it's not a Friday either, so like that could have been a thing, you know.
Like that's just enough for them to be like, nah, it's not a Friday, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, luckily, I think Luigi's Mansion really is one of their just bigger blockbuster titles this year. Yeah. So I think that is enough for them to be like, well, we'll do it right. But as far as Mark's question. So, yeah, you've never played Luigi's Mansion. I played the first one. I haven't played Dark Moon.
Dark Moon is significantly better than the first one.
For what it's worth, like I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed it even. I feel like looking back on it, I remember it even more fondly. Like I'm like, it was really fun. Like when I played it, it's kind of like it's sort of short and stuff, but it was a good time. As I looking at stuff for Luigi's Mansion 3, the first time it was announced, I was like, all right, cool. Neat.
First time it was announced, I was like, finally. Because it was like one of those games that we were like I told Logan, I was like, all right, I'm doing this week. You do a Luigi's Mansion video. He was like, all right. So it was like one of the games that I was like, it's gonna happen. Like this is coming to Switch. And it's coming to Switch.
There you go. But yeah, the more I see about it, the more it actually does look cool. I don't know, Mark, if you watched any of the like Treehouse stuff. There's a lot of games that I feel like when I watch it in action, I get more of a gist of like, okay, that's what's fun about it. Like, it's got a lot of secrets. The mechanics themselves seem like they'll be fun. I mean, it was already fun in the last one, just like sucking up ghosts and stuff, or in the first one. Because
I also like this one because like they're doubling down on like the co-op and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's always fun having good games that are co-op, because a lot of times co-op is like a crutch to be like, our game sucks, dude, let's make it better and let people play it with their friends.
Or it's a shoe-in co-op on the other hand, like Pokemon Let's Go, where it was just like, all right, you can have someone else with you if you want, but like they can't interact with the world at all, and then they get to control their Pokemon, but you don't really want to have double battles all the time anyway, so I don't know what that's about. Or, I mean, even honestly, like Mario Odyssey having co-op, like it really didn't need to have co-op to have Cappy in there and stuff like that. Like, just might as well not. But it's cool that it is, but it doesn't really matter. Whereas this legitimately is like, oh, you're puzzle solving with people, and it's fun. Yeah. As far as like what's exciting about it, I wouldn't be the best person to say because I can't quite articulate what I'm excited about for it. So
I just like Luigi's Mansion because I like the
mhm,
games and I like the character. I think he's more fleshed out than Mario. Like Mario
mm,
doesn't really have a personality,
yep, I agree.
It's like Mario is just Mario, but Luigi is like him for how he acts and his
Hmm.
mannerisms and like
It's
his
quirky too.
tone and
Like,
like
yeah.
yeah. And it's just different. It's just like a different thing for Nintendo to do.
Hmm.
So I'm interested.
Yep.
And I always play Luigi Mansion games. So
There you go.
I'm playing some.
Yeah, it looks really good. All that stuff. So, Mark, if you don't get it, you're fired. Ninja636, you're not fired. What do you think the bigger picture and effect of a successful class action lawsuit against the Big N regarding Joy-Con drift would be? Would the financial impact degrade potential future offerings in fear of risk? And then edit. Forgot my tagline. Engagement. So there you
No.
go.
I think that this is just I mean, it's bad question mark for them, but it's not gonna I don't think it's gonna change what they do in the future. I think if anything, it might make them more careful in the future to make a better product, like a
Yeah.
more well thought out. I mean, Joy-Cons are well thought out, but
Yeah.
they're like some things, one thing slipped through the crack. Well, some things because um, the
Hmm.
Bluetooth, like they didn't use the strong
Right.
enough
Yeah.
Bluetooth radio or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just we're gonna get freaking what $25 if that.
Yep.
If you bought a Joy-Con before a certain date,
Yep.
and that's just what's gonna happen.
I mean, and it's one of those things too where I don't know, 2.5 years into it, I don't know how testing of things works exactly. Uh, and most of the time, like stress tests for things, like I actually, whatever, there was so the company UL does a bunch of stuff where they'll like test out different equipments or whatever. And one of their factories has, like they'll test a chair and see like how many times can this chair be sat in before it breaks. So they
Right.
have a machine that recreates somebody sitting down and standing up in a chair millions of times or whatever. So like obviously that's kind of stuff that like they would do that for the Joy-Con in some regard. I don't know what,
And it's
but
just like you can't test for everything,
yeah. And
like
so
you don't know how like you could hold your controller significantly different from your brother, like that sort like there
yep,
so many different things that can go into like how a consumer electronic
yep.
breaks.
So
So it's
there's a chance that I think at worst they knew that it could be an issue, but they were like probably negligible enough that like it's not really a big deal. But we've got to put it out anyway. So that like at worst case it's that, which it's not like it's a car seat or something like that that endangers lives by any means. So it's not that bad, but it is
or
annoying. They're
Samsung
testing
Galaxy
it.
Note
Yeah,
or whatever
right.
that blows up in your pocket.
Or I mean, like my car gets recalls on its airbags all the time, and like that's an airbag, like that's kind of a big deal. But
Yeah.
like they put new ones in, so it's one of those things where like I, it's frustrating and it sucks if it happens. Like my right Joy-Con, the stick drifts just a little bit, but
I've
I also
had and in the beginning, like my launch Joy-Con, I had those for a long time.
oh these are my launch Joy-Cons for sure too.
And then I don't even remember. Oh, the launch like they started drifting, so I was like,
Yep.
"This not going to work." So I took the GameStop and I traded it in. I got a warranty on the next Joy-Con that I got. And then my next Joy-Con they broke, but they weren't drifting. They
Hmm.
broke because the analog stick just completely fell off.
Oh,
Like I dropped my Joy-Con R, and
mhm.
the analog stick was just gone. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I've never seen that happen with a controller before. And then
That's
I had
weird.
another set of Joy-Con after that I traded in those Joy-Con for, and then they started drifting, and now this is where we're at.
Man alive. Uh, but
So I've
yeah,
had two sets that drifted, one set that
yep.
one Joy-Con of that set that
Mhm.
just flat out broke.
So I don't think, I mean, to like you said, I don't think it'll make a big impact on Nintendo as far as like it'll be a lawsuit, maybe that they'll have to pay some stuff out for. I don't
Yeah,
think
and
it's
for them, it's
a
gonna be like a
huge deal
drop in
for
the
them.
bucket. They're gonna have to pay
Yeah.
like at most what, like $50 million or something, which is
Mhm.
like whatever, dude. I took the Mario Run profits for this quarter or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, shouldn't be too big of a deal. But hopefully they fix it regardless, because it not happening would be way better than it happening. So pretty straightforward on that at least. Next up, Mathieu 291. It's spelled the French way, so I assume maybe it's the French way, but maybe not. I don't know. Curious. Let me know in the comments if that's the French way or not. All right. Hey guys, I already have a Switch, but with a Best Buy warranty on it. Since the new Switch with better battery is coming out as a replacement, should I use my warranty to get the better battery or not? Also, side note, do you guys ever wonder why John from Spawnwave never smiles in his thumbnails?
Yeah, I thought this one was funny. I don't know, dude. Like you would think that like, and I don't do that often, like ever. I've done it 2 times. Put my face in a thumbnail, and for no particular reason. Like it's not a thing of like I don't want my face, like because some people are
Yeah.
worried about that. But it's also a thing of like I don't think it's going to help engagement anymore. It might possibly,
Yeah.
I guess, but it's just there when it makes sense. Like for thumbnails, for me, it's like okay, what's going to look the best, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking about. I don't think putting me on the thumbnail would make it any better than trying to make it look more like an ad,
Yep.
for the video game that I'm talking about.
Indeed. As far as the warranty thing, I mean, yeah, if it's going to be better, at least in battery life, if nothing else, than the
Yeah.
original one. So if you can use your warranty without like having to do something shady, like I don't know, different warranties are different. So like if you
could just straight up be like, "Yo, here's my Switch and all the stuff that it came with. Give me the new one." Then yeah, do that.
absolutely,
If not, then I don't know. I don't think it's really worth it unless you play with handheld a lot for a
yep,
long time
yep,
and you're far away from a power source.
yep.
Then yeah, but I don't know.
There you
I
go.
don't think it's a big enough jump to like have to,
Go super far out of your way. Yeah, I mean, and I've said before, I'd been thinking about because mine just has minor issues in and of itself. So for me, it's just going to be an upgrade period. But then also my wife gets my own one, so works out. And Falcon, we already answered this comment of yours. So he said they picked our spooky month, though. You're so right. And then he asked about the X1 chip thing. So that's all for the YouTube community questions. And now we've got a whole bunch of Twitter questions where AJ asked on Twitter, and you guys asked some questions, which was great.
Yep.
There you go. Max Wright from Lootpots. Go check out
He
lootpots.com.
was on the podcast, what, like 2
He
weeks ago
was
or something like that?
maybe like 12 years. It was a while ago.
Yeah, probably like a long time ago.
Probably something like that. So Max asked, number one, what is it about Pokemon trainer mains that makes them so smug? Number two, how do you sleep at night?
Max is salty because I played him. We played in Smash Brothers, and I didn't drop a game because
Yep.
that's how it works. And I
You
don't
guys are
understand that.
communicating the whole thing in a DM with me while like
Yeah, we're like freaking, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh wait, Parker's still in this thread.
I was like 21 messages or whatever.
Yeah, but we just got to the point where I was like, we're blowing them up. And he was like, Discord. And I was like, yeah. And then we got on Discord, and Discord's garbage. So it's like half the time it's like cutting out and stuff. So I'm like, Google Hangouts? He's like, yeah, Google Hangouts. So then we got on Google Hangouts, and it was great. But yeah, like, I'm just playing the game, dude. Like, people think that I'm just like trying to, like, like embarrass them or whatever. If it's and he was like, oh, I bet you're gonna put this on Twitter. I was like, no, only do it to people that try to disrespect me first. If I see you teabagging or you just start playing like an a-hole, I'm like, all right, I gotta be one now, I gotta meet you in the middle. But if I'm just playing the game and we're just friends, we're just pounding around. I'm sitting here, I'm giving you advice. I'm like, they shouldn't have did that. You should have maybe did this. Maybe you shouldn't have blocked it like that. Do this. I'm just trying to help. Just trying to be helpful.
Such a gracious winner. But a serious question: with Splatoon 2 content coming to an end, where do you envision or want the series to go next? It's a huge IP for Nintendo in Japan, and we're surely not seeing the last of it. Also, going to throw in Bianca's comment because she asked a similar thing too. So just to make things more efficient, Bianca Wicks asks, you probably recorded already, but just in case, and we hadn't, haha. With Final Fest this weekend, people began asking if they're making Splatoon 3, but Team said they're too busy with Animal Crossing right now. So do you think Splatoon 3 could still come this gen, or is it a per-console franchise? So,
okay. So I don't know if I want to address these separately because they're kind of different. I think Splatoon 3 is going to happen because it's not just, it's huge in Japan. Like it's the thing in Japan. But here it's pretty big too. and everywhere, like as far as Nintendo franchises go, I'd say it's like easy top 3. Well, discounting Pokemon, because Pokemon is just the thing. And it's kind of Nintendo, kind of not, but like Nintendo made and owned 100%, it's like top. So yeah, we're definitely going to see more of it. I think that as far as like them not working on it, I think they're going to start working on it after this final, like once they're done updating the game and stuff like that, that's what they're going to start working on it. And I think this Splatfest is going to play into that in the same way that the last Splatfest did for the original Splatoon into the Splatoon 2, where it's like, oh yeah, Kylie and Marie, who wins? And then it became this plot thing, and we didn't think that. But now it's like very much so an obvious thing of like, oh, okay, this is plot related. Like
the chaos and order thing, you mean?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think that they'll start work on it. I don't know if it's going to be a 1 game per console sort of situation.
It depends on the console lifespan, I guess.
Yeah, and also like we don't have enough, like Splatoon's not an old enough franchise to determine that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because you have like Zelda, right? Like it had a long history before it got to the point where like like there's always people that like look at Nintendo patterns and they're like, oh, because they have this pattern, this is just what they do. And then they talk like they know for a fact, like Sakurai never did that before, so he'll never do it, until he does it. Splatoon is most definitely in that area where it's like it's not even old enough to have developed a pattern. So we could see Splatoon 3 on Switch. We could not, because like the original Splatoon took 11 months to develop. So like, it could come out in 2021 in the beginning of the year, or it could come out in 2025. Who knows?
I think that, that's a good. It also depends a little bit. Like I think right now they like having strong online games that they're supporting.
Right.
So Smash, obviously, Super Mario Maker 2, and that's pretty much the only ones after Splatoon 2. If that dies out, those would be the only 2. So I think it maybe depends on what their other tentpole online franchises would be to some degree of how they would want to then handle that. And I mean, it really also depends. How long is the Switch going to be around? Like, will it still be the same console generation in 2023 or whatever? Because if so, 100%, I think we're going to get a Splatoon 3 on this, console generation. But if it turns out it's a short one, like the Wii U was or whatever, which whatever, who's to say? Then probably it's more of a Smash Bros. Situation, which has been historically 1 per console, and I don't see that changing for Smash Bros. By any means.
I don't think that's going to change. Mostly because like Smash Brothers is the type of thing that they don't really have a reason to do that, especially now with DLC.
Because it doesn't have a story mode in the same way. I mean, like there's a single player mode, but it's not.
Yeah, and it doesn't even always really have that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So. Like Smash Brothers is most definitely the sort of thing that's like how Mario Kart kind of is, which we don't even know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe the Switch Mario Kart, or is it not? Who's to say?
Who knows?
Who even knows?
Who knows, dude?
Good questions. Patrick Green asks, number 1, can we just ask any question at all?
Yep.
Number 2, how are you guys doing?
Great. Well,
you actually can't ask any question. No, you're not allowed to ask 2 or 3 right there. Sorry. It was just that first one. Doing good. Thinking about apples a lot now, considering.
True. Oh, I did. Wait. Oh, no, there's no question in here about it, I don't think. Oh, wait. No, there is a question about it, I think. Wasn't there a question in here about? Yeah. Never mind. I'll get to it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then last but not least, what's your non-YouTube /Twitter /podcast life like?
Depends on the day. Mostly still thinking about this though. Like, all right, I gotta do this thing, and like, so it's like a day by day thing. When somebody will message me or text me or call me and be like, "Yo, you want to like hang out and do something?" And if it's Monday, no. But if it's any other day, I'm like, yeah, we can do it for this time, whatever. So it's day by day thing.
Yep.
But I just hang out, dude.
Yeah. Mine's pretty. I mean, I've got an office job during the day, so there you go. And then I've got a wife and I've got 2 dogs. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Hang out with friends, play some music, play video games, go to church.
Yup.
Just normal life and whatnot. Nothing kind of crazy. But then all this stuff is kind of crazy and it's fun and great. So
Yeah, I was like Brooks. He made a video about burnout, and it's like I don't know about
mm,
like how like because like there's no separation for me,
mm,
like, and I'm not bothered by that because
yeah.
it's like when I'm not working, I'm still kind of working.
Well, and I think the fact you're doing it in a community to some degree helps you. Like the fact that even just on this channel, there's us and Justin as well,
Right.
and then like also Bob and all the stuff you do with him. I feel like doing anything in isolation leads to burnout
Yeah.
probably way faster. Where you're like, you know, anybody that just does the same thing 24/7 by themselves, like that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
But in my case, I'm just like it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like I want to do this.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah.
So there you go. Good stuff. Falcon asks, we're hearing a lot from Falcon today.
Yeah,
I'm getting sick of it.
a
Just
lot of
kidding.
Falcon, dude.
Um, this is going to be a hard one for me to answer. What are your favorite non-Nintendo franchises? I know we're a Nintendo-centric channel, but just curious. P.S. I realize this may have been answered in a previous directly to you, but I'm asking again now that Parker is here. Fight me. P.P.S. Parker, fight me. Good stuff. I'll happily fight you. No, no.
um
Go for it.
okay, so there's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gears, like Gears of War
Mm-hmm.
cool. I like Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper is also cool. Are we talking about like non-Nintendo, like in the sense that like it never even looked at a Nintendo console before?
I clarified that on Twitter, and he said pretty much just something that you wouldn't like automatically. The
Okay,
gist that
so
I got was
something you wouldn't identify as like a
right,
Nintendo thing.
but like could be I guess
Um,
that, but like he said, like God of War, Call of Duty, those kinds of things. Sounds like Red
right,
Dead Redemption, whatever.
right. Hmm. Mostly just exclusives of other things, like I like Halo.
Yeah.
I don't like all PlayStation's like I don't like God of War. God of War is kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I didn't play the last one. The last one seems less dumb.
Yep. I would be into the last one, I think.
The Last of Us, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking, I don't like Uncharted. That's one
Okay.
for I don't like Uncharted. I don't like Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I like what Naughty Dog does.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that's it.
Nice.
That's all I can
Um,
think of.
for me, obviously, I spend 24/7 playing Call of Duty and World of Warcraft.
Obviously,
So there you go. No, just kidding. No, I outside of Nintendo,
he's never touched Xbox in his life.
I have never owned an Xbox, that's for sure. And the only PlayStation console I owned was the PS1. So like, uh, yeah. That said,
Any other video game channel would be fired.
I mean, seriously though, I'm very glad to not be. It works out quite nicely. Like, man, anytime, like I listen to Spawncast or some other podcasts or whatever where they're talking about things, and I'm like, yeah, that would be fun to be on there and talk about some things. But depending on the week, I would just have nothing to
Be like,
say for
yeah,
a long
man.
time. Be like, I have heard about these things that you're talking about. They sound neat, but like I don't know. So I appreciate that you guys enjoy me being here for hopefully my personality, if nothing else. Because I was trying to think of it, and like most non-Nintendo franchises, I've only played like one game in of the ones that I like. So, for example, I love Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. That was on GameCube, and it
I
was
know
great.
you didn't fill out the tier list. I was going to say, like, you could just look
Oh,
at the tier list that I did,
oh yeah.
and you
There's a
never
reason I
even
didn't fill
did that.
that out.
Yeah,
It
because
would have
there's
been
just a lot that you're like, I didn't play this.
That's the one. Yeah. So like I loved that game on the GameCube. I did play Two Towers at somebody else's like somebody else owned it and I played it and enjoyed it as well. But like that's not really a franchise in the same way.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
um, I I had Crash Bandicoot 2 growing up, and I really liked that. And I had one of the Spyros, I think Year of the Dragon, and I really liked that. But I haven't played the other two Spyros, and even though I have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, I've just played through 2 again, and then I was like, I've got other stuff to play. So, yeah, just a lot of franchises. I don't identify with the franchise so much as just with a single game. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So I have not a good answer for this question.
Be
But
ashamed of yourself.
I am probably quit tomorrow. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go, Falcon. Hope that answers your question. But down the road, as I play more third-party games and stuff, I'll have more answers. And then maybe eventually I'll end up. I just don't have the time or money for more than a Switch right now. Like, I don't want to spread myself thin, especially doing this. Like, it just makes sense. We're doing Nintendo stuff, so I'm just going to put my money and time into the Nintendo stuff because it's already what I care about. So diversifying myself would be cool and all, but I have a full-time job and other things to where, like,
Yeah, it just doesn't like
it would be
it doesn't benefit you in any way because it's not something that it's not something that you actively want to do. You're not like, hey, I really want to play the newest PlayStation game, and it's also not something that's like, if I did this, it could really help the channel.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I would literally just be guilted into it to some degree, like,
and not even by just by the fact that I'm a gamer and I watch gaming things that sometimes talk about other games that I don't own, and I feel bad for not owning that thing. And to be fair, that's a lot of reason why I own the stuff that I own, where it's like I just want to be able, if somebody's like, yo, what do you think about this? I can be like, it sucks. And I can say that because I played it.
I mean, it's 100% some level of respect or whatever that I have just accepted that I will not get, if that's something that matters to you, I'm not going to get that from you in this category of life.
Yeah.
Thank you anyway. I appreciate your candor. So yeah, that stuff. But yeah, great question though. I'll keep you posted as that changes. If some franchises develop, I'll let you know.
When he just becomes a hardcore Xbox fanboy, we'll let you know.
That's right. Yeah. Flapjack Gaming has this question. Have you seen the Knowledge Hub's new video about Pokemon and thoughts? Okay, haven't seen the video, but Flapjack Gaming explains it here. If you haven't seen it, he just talks about the reason for Pokemon games not taking huge leaps is because they need to make them quickly to make more merch on them, since merch is their main income. Which, frankly, I think we can segue a little bit into a bit broader of the topic. But go on.
Yeah. I think that's BS. No, because it's not they don't have to finish a game to be like, this is how you make, this is what the specs are for this character. You can finish the character design and be like, this is what the character looks like. Go ahead, make merch. Yeah. And just keep people develop the game and develop the merch in tandem. I think they just don't because they don't want to, they kind of just ease themselves into evolving because it's the biggest media franchise in the world and they don't want to jeopardize that by making huge changes.
I think, yeah, there's a couple of different aspects of it. And so one of them is that I think the not taking huge leaps is related more to, I mean, they're related. It's related more to the time aspect than it is to the merch aspect. It's kind of, jamming a couple things together. And I think it's more than just the merch anyway. I think, like we've talked about before, it's a whole franchise that exists outside of just even the games. The games are the foundation for it.
Right.
But the fact that they've built a whole cycle around having a TV, the anime, the manga, the games themselves, and the merch, all those things, I think it's more than just the merch, because they could keep selling old merch and be fine. As far as just, if that's what you're talking about, but unless when he said merch, he means everything else,
all the franchise. But even that, I don't think. I think that it's mostly just because they want to put in as little as they can and get as much out of it as they can. Because you can scale up and get more done in less time, but they don't do that. They're capable of doing it. They can do it. They have the money to do it. The franchise is big enough to do it, but they don't because they don't have to.
Yeah.
And also just because like it doesn't really make sense for them to do it. Like for what? Like how many more copies will they sell if they make Pokemon look like freaking Horizon Zero Dawn, Like
Yeah.
how would they really benefit from that?
Yeah. And I
Um
mean, I think even with like the national dex conversation kind of thing, I think probably they've said before, like at some point we had to make the decision of like we're not going to be able to do all of them. Whether it was an arbitrary decision now or not, I think that's true. That eventually they would have to decide we're not going to have the resources in some way, shape, or form. Like they could
'Cause
hire more people.
otherwise, yeah, but, like, nobody does that because
Right.
like Bob brought up, and we were talking
Yeah.
about this, in our DM conversations, where we're like, "That doesn't even make sense, like, there's 1,000 Pokemon,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to what? They have 5 graphic people,
Hmm.
like, 5 freaking animators that they staff, maybe, and they're supposed to do 1,000 characters
And I
in a
think,
year,
yeah,
like
and it's not even just like people think just about the animations, but there's also like balancing questions and any of that kind of stuff that could come into play. And there's a lot that goes into a Pokemon besides just like its move set and all that stuff, and
yeah,
also
and
not
it's not even just battle evolutions,
right.
battle, animations, it's
Hmm.
also, like, the cutscenes
Yep.
and the overworld and,
Yep.
like, like,
And
the
I mean, like people
Pokédex
have
and,
talked about it before, but like the retooling of even if animations look the same, they have to make them for a new engine or any of that kind of stuff. Like, I I think it's something where regardless of whether or not they could have for Pokemon Sword and Shield, at some point it would have been it's a decision that they would have to choose between are we evolving something different or are we carrying everything along with us? And they decided this is going to be the one where we'll try to do some different things like there's a lot of things, a lot of question marks we still don't know.
yeah.
Like
I
maybe,
think the bulk of it is they make the decisions they do for the reasons that any company does,
yeah,
and it's thinking return on investment.
yeah,
How much money do we have to spend to make money back?
hmm,
Like, that's what they're thinking about.
yeah. So I don't think I, I think it's not a question of laziness, but it could be a question of complacency in some regards and priorities, where they're
Yeah.
like, this is what's these things are what's important for us to be able to do, and that's I mean I
And
understand that's
it's
frustrating.
not just complacency on their end, it's
Yeah,
complacency with the fans too. Because like,
that's
and
very
I know very deeply that every time you talk about changing Pokemon drastically, people get angry about it. So it's like it's hard for them to know, and there's certain things that people are like, "Man, I really want them to change," and everybody's answer is different. Like some
yeah.
people, like everybody wants something in Pokemon to change drastically, but
Hmm.
everybody's answer is going to be slightly different. Because even
Yeah,
the people that want the battle system to be the same, again, they want it to look like Horizon Zero Dawn, Like I want the same game I've been playing since 1998, but I want it to look like a PlayStation 4 game,
yep,
like that sort of thing.
yeah,
Whereas there's people like me are like, I'm tired of playing the same game I've been playing since 1998. I wanted to play like a game that was made this decade.
yeah. So yeah. All things considered, like my stance on it, just generally is I'm kind of just waiting until it comes out. There's things that would be great if they were different, like the national decks. They've mentioned they essentially said they're not going to patch in, but they didn't say it exactly in those words. Like maybe they still could, maybe they won't. Who's
Yeah,
to say?
I still think that they're trying to be safe with it because like
Yes.
maybe they will, maybe they won't, and they don't want to say one way or the other because that's just going to dig the hole deeper.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think they are like they're trying to do right by people as well as like you said, return on investment and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just waiting until it comes out. There's every time we see new stuff, there's some stuff that I'm like, that's really cool. I'm really excited about that thing. So like I'm just
Yo,
assuming
I
there's gonna
told a
be more.
wild area and I was sold. That's all I
Yeah,
need. I'm like, okay,
exactly.
we're making changes. All right.
Yes. Right.
I don't care about the cuts that we're making. We're moving forward in other areas. That's
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
I'm not going to use all 1,000 Pokemon anyway.
Yep. Same. So it's yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious to see when it comes out. People are either going to get it, and at longest, people are going to complain for like 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
then either they'll be over it, or
Well, you won't, and then
they'll
just go
be
buy the
like, "Oh,
game.
it
That's
was
fine.
cool. Never mind." Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, but all that stuff. Great question though. Sisto, what's your favorite Mario Maker 2 story mode level?
Um, I
I
didn't
haven't
play
played
that
them
much
all.
of story mode.
Hmm.
And I don't remember. Apparently, like I looked at the time, and I played Mario Maker for longer than I thought it did. I thought I put in like maybe like I don't know, like 8 hours, but I
Mhm.
put in 15 hours, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I've got like 50 or something at this point.
Hey man, hey man.
Making levels spends
Yeah,
like
it takes a
honestly,
long time, dude.
yeah, because that was after I had gotten up to like 45 or 40 or so when I'd finished my third level. And then I haven't done any more making stuff since then. And then I've just been playing it. So it's, yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
I haven't really played that much. So
Yep.
all 15 of those hours is just me making stuff,
Yep.
and I made 1.5 levels. You know,
Nice. As far as the favorite one, I think mine probably, there's a lot of really cool ones. They're just neat. Probably my favorite one is there's a seesaw one where you have to, just go around and like lifting stuff up as you're going up. Kind of, it's the pyramid theme. I think it's Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't remember what it's called, but if you've played the story mode, you probably remember which one it is. But it's like very like ruins-y and stuff.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, I
I
know
like.
what you're talking about.
So there you go. Next question, still from Twitter. Revo Trila asks, AJ, are you single?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, serious
Somebody,
question.
somebody else asked that
I
or
was like,
said that they were going to ask that.
yeah.
It was like, okay.
And now you know. So everybody go to where
Shoot your
AJ lives.
shot, fam.
Oh man. Okay, serious questions. They say, do you think we'll see a new 3D Mario game on Switch, and how do you expect it to be? And then also, do you think there's any chance Nintendo will have a game like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark? 3D Mario game. What do you think, AJ?
uh, yeah. I don't know what you mean by a new full 3D Mario game. Like, do you mean like that's not Odyssey? Because I think we might see a Mario Galaxy 2 sort of situation. I don't know if we'll see like a like from Mario Odyssey to Mario Galaxy sort of thing, like a whole new sub series. I don't think we'll get that.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely think we'll get another 3D Mario game.
Yep. I think it makes sense. Like to some degree, I was like, how come they're waiting so long? Well, not waiting so long, but like I think the fact that we had New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe this year and then Super Mario Maker 2, they're just trying to make sure
Yeah,
there's not too much
we're
platforming
pretty
Mario
much
stuff.
having one new Mario game a year.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd imagine we could hear about Super Mario Odyssey 2 as early as next year at some point when Super Mario Maker 2 is kind of like established
We get
itself.
Odyssey 2 and Breath of the Wild 2 in the same year.
Honestly, I
What
could
can
see it happen
happen?
for what it's worth. So
Flip them
um
though. Like make Mario Odyssey 2 come out in March and
yeah,
make Breath of the Wild 2 come out in November.
I'm down with that.
That'd be
I'm
dope.
very down with that. And then do you think we'll see a GoldenEye or Perfect Dark kind of game? So I guess Nintendo first party first person shooter.
Uh
Seems like
I read that as do you think that you're gonna like we're gonna see one of those two games just because of the
oh, okay.
Microsoft situation? Um
Oh, that's
Possibly.
possible.
I
Yeah.
don't know like as far as like a shooter in that style, um I don't think so. Just because like the style didn't really age very well.
Mhm.
Like that style has like evolved into like Doom Eternal.
Yeah. Right.
So yes, but no at the same time.
I think with a lot of those, Nintendo's kind of leaning on third parties now,
Yeah,
which still isn't. There's not like that many third party shooters on Switch.
yeah.
I mean, obviously Doom, Wolfenstein, and then some other little ones, but it's not like you know.
You
Yeah,
don't
most
got
of the,
like Battlefield and Call of Duty and
right. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't
Maybe we'll
know.
get Halo. You never know. Maybe
True. I think if they would do it, it would probably be more in the vein of, I mean, maybe some kind of reboot of Perfect Dark or something like that, which would be in conjunction again with Microsoft or whatever, but I kind of doubt it. It would probably be more of a Bayonetta type situation where they partner with something else and then publish it. And I mean, again, that's a more specific situation even than that. But I
yeah.
think where they work with just not a straight up internal, team or something like that. I don't know. That would be my guess in any case
Yeah.
for that.
We're
And
closing
then,
in. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
right, if you're on Discord, you can talk to us. Although we're on Twitter more often, so
Yeah.
just
Like still, man, Discord. Let's hang out, dude.
And you can talk to other people too. It's, because you might not know who all is in the community to talk to. You could tweet at us, but you don't know who else is in the community and wants to talk about stuff. So you just go in there and chat some stuff up.
Yep,
People will talk.
it's linked on the channel page, and it's
That's right.
probably in the description. If not, I'll do it. Let me know
Nice.
if it's not in the description. I had to
Uh,
update that because apparently the link that I had expired. So that's
well,
dumb.
way to make a mistake, AJ. Lizdrin asks, is Fanatic4 actually a channel about fruits, but you felt like no one would watch it, so you just sneak them in the real theme between Nintendo headlines?
See what was the real kicker is fanatixfour is a beta test for our cooking channel. That's what
Fanatics
you
fruit.
get now. That's what you get now.
Ooh,
I'm over here seeding for video topic ideas.
see, I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm seeing all these people.
I see what you did there.
I'm seeing all these people
Sorry.
talking about the Apple recipes and stuff. I'm just writing them down. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make a cooking channel. I'm gonna make a.
Raw
It's gonna
apples.
compete
Got it.
with binging with Babish or whatever. And I'm gonna make a cooking book in 2022. Buy it. It's gonna be in all the stores,
Right.
all bookstores that don't exist anymore.
I wonder if there's a Nintendo cookbook. Like, I'm sure there is. As in, like, one that makes recipes from Nintendo games.
Not made by Nintendo, but probably someone did it.
Like, all the recipes in actually, okay, so at my office for a little while, my team, whenever it was somebody's birthday, we'd like do a themed thing, like bring in lunch or something like that. And so we'd all just kind of bring in stuff. Breath of the Wild had just come out a bit before, and we did somebody's birthday that he played it.
Food.
So we did a whole bunch of so like I did Brussels sprouts that was supposed to be the wild greens or whatever, and then somebody made like a bunch of different foods from Breath of the Wild. But then straight up, I got a plate and just put like pencils and pens and rubber bands and stuff, and just put the dubious food with the like scribbled out stuff. It was very fun on a plate.
Who ate it?
Yeah, I mean me, but it.
Okay, there you go. As long as someone committed,
So good stuff. And last but not least, Grimhane with a billion questions. Already asked, was anyone really surprised by Luigi's Mansion 3 release date? Yeah, kind of. Are you going to get the SN30 Pro Plus, or do I need to rely on Bob for a review?
You probably got to rely on Bob. The only way I'm getting that controller is if Bob sends me the controller. I could probably hit them up and be like, yo, send me the controller. But like, I don't know if I'm going to make a video about that. Bob's the hardware guy. I'm the software guy. That's how it works.
Yep. Same. Yeah, I'm probably not going to end up getting it. I don't even have a Pro controller. With the revised Switch, does getting a Switch Lite make sense for anything other than financial reasons, i.e. the $100 price difference?
No. I mean, other than the color.
I think, yeah, right, exactly. I think it's that. I think for an informed consumer, pretty much not. Like if somebody really just does want it only handheld and likes it being a little bit smaller, like they just feel like the regular Switch is too big for them to bring around and they only care about a handheld, then that's a thing. But otherwise, I think it's just having more options on store shelves for parents to be able to choose between, grandparents to be able to choose between. Like you mentioned, your grandma buying everybody, all the cousins, Game Boy SPs. Like I could see a grandma buying everybody a Switch Lite, not buying everybody a regular Switch, like that kind of a thing. And like, I mean, I know there's times where, I don't know, my wife will be like, hey, we should get this thing. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we should get that thing. But then I'll find like just a cheaper version of it and be like, we'll get this thing instead. Cause like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. I could see a lot of parents.
If my grandma bought everybody, or grandparents, bought everybody Nintendo Switch, right? Versus like them buying everybody a Switch Lite. They could buy like 2 more Switch Lights.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
easily. Yeah. So I think that's the thing is I think it is price, but it's not price for you and me as much as it is price for the Target and Walmart shopper.
Yeah, somebody is just walking through the store and then they see like, oh yeah, little Billy would like this. And they're like, $200, I'll buy it for Billy.
Yep. I think that's what it is, and there's tons of games on store shelves that are bad, but they get sold because people are like, oh, you like this such and such game, whatever. And it's like, no, I mean, 1-2 Switch has sold 2 million copies. So however that happens, whatever.
Yo, my niece loves 1-2 switch.
All right. I've yet to play it at
She
anybody's.
calls the switch 1-2 switch. She's like, "Can I play the 1-2 switch?"
That's amazing. I
I'm
love
like,
that so
"Okay,
much.
all right."
Oh man. All right. Next up, forget about fruit. What's everyone's favorite kind of meat? Beef, poultry, fish, pork, and which one of those would you consider giving up entirely?
I can give up fish because I don't eat it anyway. But if that's a cheat answer, I can give up pork because I don't really eat it anyway. um, I like me a good old burger, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say beef. Poultry is also fine, but you know what? Just out of protest because people are gonna be like, "Oh, the black guy likes chicken." Ah, lol. I'm not even gonna say that. So
You
beef.
did. Man,
But
I don't
everybody
know.
likes chicken. I just mean like as your favorite thing.
Yeah,
Like who doesn't like chicken? Why is that a thing?
vegetarian. My sister. Pretty much. That's it.
No, they like it too. They're just trying to look cool, you know. They're doing it for
Secret.
the gram.
That's right. Man, I don't know. This is actually hard. There's different contexts. Here, I'll say this. I'll give a very specific answer. Chorizo is real good. So, like, if I go to a Mexican restaurant and there's something with chorizo in it, I'll probably get that. But at the same time, I love a burger. So, like, all of those are good. As far as giving one up, we'll say pork as well, though.
You didn't
Why
even
not?
say you didn't even say your favorite one though.
So that's within pork. It's a kind of sausage. But
Okay, so that's all right. That's what you're saying. All right.
so there you
So
go.
pork. There it is.
But then I also said that's the one I would give up. So being tricky.
That makes no sense.
No, I'm living it up in the city over here. Just get what you're done. And last but not least, Grimhane finally asked, why doesn't Nintendo want to capitalize on allowing us to get custom color Joy-Cons when sites like Colorwave have shown there's a market event at not insignificant price hikes?
He said,
Oh,
even.
market even.
Yeah.
I was like, what's a market event?
I just don't think Nintendo likes getting in the SKUs because they don't have their own infrastructure for that. So to have to pay somebody else to make like a set amount of something and not knowing how much of that thing to get, and then like it's just a whole thing for them. Whereas other companies either don't care or they have their own supply chain deals that are more efficient.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest thing where they just want to be like, all right, we're ordering 20,000 of X and that's it.
I think they just like to have control in some areas that they really don't need to have control in particular. I mean, they would still have control over it, but like they just like being like, this is the thing. And you're like, all right, just going to have to go with that thing, I guess. But I mean, as a consumer, it doesn't make any sense because it just seems like it would be easy for them to do it. But I'm sure there's lots of hoops that they'd have to jump through that I'm not thinking of or whatever. But still, just do it, Nintendo. Be our friends.
Yep.
There you go. And that's what you get when you listen to a podcast from us.
Yes.
I didn't have a place to go with the beginning of that sentence. I just started saying words.
You can listen to more podcasts from us every week on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, unless it's later than that, because sometimes I forget to send Parker my audio. Sometimes I wake up later than that. Sometimes, there's a lot of different variables that happen. But it'll probably happen by noon. But generally 10 a.m. I haven't missed it in a while, So 10 a.m. We're going to say that. Anyway, if you don't want to listen to it on YouTube because you don't got YouTube Red or YouTube Music or whatever lets you listen to it where you can put your phone to sleep like I do, you could listen to it on podcast services. You just go to anchor.fm/directly-to-u or something like that. Also linked in the description. You can see all the podcast services we're on, because I don't know all of them, but we're on the ones that matter. We're on Google Play, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're
on all the ones where you could leave some kind of review and tell other people to listen to it and be like, wow, what a neat thing.
You can say, wow, this is a great podcast. 5 stars. I love apples, and so do they.
Yep. Easy. Yep. Everybody comment exactly that.
Your favorite thing.
And that is all.
What is your favorite thing? Let us know in the comments.
All right.
Okay. Goodbye.